Awesome.
I gotta get my drink fixed.
Hi, Jackie. This is Elaine.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm excited that we're going to have one, maybe two Predator tables down at the event. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, people, nobody here has had any exposure. So at least some of the people will be able to try them out. So that's really neat.
Yes, it is.
Are you all settled in, Jackie?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm enjoying it. It's been pretty. I was at a soccer game last night, 26 degrees, but
yes.
I love my grandson.
You must at 26. Yeah, they're not used to that kind of weather there, huh?
No,
It's
I'm
a big
not.
storm.
And that was 50 today, so it's really different than Vancouver, Washington, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Julie, are you on? Julie, are you on?
Her dog was just on.
I think he's still there.
He's still there. Her dog is there. She must be coming. He's getting down.
I got two people try to. There's one of those guys. Where is Julie's picture? I see Tim. We'll be ready to go once Julie gets back. I got two people in the waiting room to join the meeting. I need to get those in, but I wanted Julie to be back before we did that.
Hey, Darren, quick question. Is it possible to be a player's rep out of two different locations?
No. I mean, you represent the league, so the league can play out of two different locations. So, I mean, by representing your league, if you play out of two different bars, you can definitely share the information you hear and learn and talk about with both groups of people, both divisions. But as a player rep, it's pretty much a one person.
Okay, because I'm a player's rep for Rose City Billiards.
Yeah.
But currently, I'm also playing BCA out of Longview, Washington, and they're looking for a player's rep, and they're NPL.
Okay. I mean, I think those two league operators should get together and see who has the extra player rep spaces and who needs one, and make you a player rep of that league. Because I mean, I don't think it's fair that you get to vote twice. One for each.
Nobody
league.
gets to vote twice.
If
Sorry,
he's
I'm just
asked if
coming
he
into
could be-
this.
If he's asked if he can be a player rep for two leagues at the same time,
Who is that?
I'm not. sure.
Generally, I don't think we have a play. You're just on one or the other because you're taking up a spot from someone else if you're on two.
Well, he's playing in Rose two leagues and wants to know if he could be a player rep for two different leagues.
Why though? Why would you need to be a player rep for two different leagues? To get two votes? Is that the?
No,
Nobody gets two votes.
not
Yeah,
to get not to get two votes. It's just they were looking for a player's rep, and since Rob Cameron already knew I was one down in Rose City Billiards, he doesn't have an issue. But I wasn't quite sure if it was allowed or not. If it's not allowed, then I'll bring it up today at league and see if anybody wants to join.
Yeah, because I mean, the only thing that you being in both would accomplish is it would take a spot away from someone else if there was someone else that wanted to be, because you can't vote twice. So why be on both? You could still talk to the players and absolutely, listen to what they want, but you would still only get one vote.
Yeah, Julie, we need to get started. I got three people in the waiting room to tell you about, so we can get started and I can get those folks in.
Okay.
We got Kathy Stanley. I thought she was in earlier, so
She was in earlier.
We got, and now there's 4. There's someone named Angela. I'm admitting them. We got Pam's iPhone. And we got a phone number of 541. Well, that one went away. So it looks like, oh, there it is, 541-9720766. Join the meeting.
That's
So if you-
probably Patrick Bennett.
Is that who that is?
I
Yep.
think so.
Yep, that's Patrick Bennett.
I
Okay.
lost my audio and had to reconnect, so it might be me. This is
It's
Kathy.
me. Kathy, okay.
All right.
And who was the other one you said? Someone's iPhone?
No, it wasn't an iPhone.
I think it was Pam's iPhone.
Pam's
Yeah, Pam's
iPhone?
iPhone.
Is she still here? I don't see it.
I don't see, no, someone dropped off as I was admitting them. thinking they
Okay,
were getting in. I was holding off to admitting them until I could tell you to watch for them and keep an eye on them. Yeah, Pam's
Okay.
iPhone is in the meeting. Let me ask her to unmute. Pam, could you tell Julie what your last name is, please? Is this Pam from,
Russian.
Carolyn?
yeah,
Oh, Pam Rushton. Hi, Pam.
Hi.
You're a guest, right?
Yes, I'm
Not
just
Clara.
listening.
Okay, thank you.
all right, well, let's get back to business, everybody. We're running a little late. So next up on the agenda is Rick Jones. Boys. Rick, do you want to go ahead and start with an opening statement, and then we'll just move to a question and answer period where folks can ask you questions?
I'm Rick Jones with Bad Boys Billiard Productions. We've been doing your guys' tournaments for a very long time, and we hope to continue doing that. We got the best tables, best tournament direction crew. I'm not sure what else you guys want me to say, other than, we need to hear what you guys want.
Okay. I was curious, did you start in 2006 or 2007? I was trying to narrow down the year. Do you recall?
I think with you guys, it was 2007.
Okay, cool. So that makes it going on not quite 20 years. It's yeah, long time. Thank you for all the work you've done. We really appreciate it. All right. So let's go ahead and open the floor to questions. I think we'll start with hands raised, or if I see Jeff and Becky Potter. Jeff Potter, go ahead.
Is I've talked, unmute it.
Yeah, Jeff.
I've talked to a lot of players in Oregon and Washington. Their concern is it possible we can move our tournament back to late February, early March to save some money on rooms? I know because of the Vegas tournament, we had to move it up. And so their concern is if we stay with Bad Boys, is it possible that we can move it back again?
Okay, well, that's not a question for Rick. So what we're trying to do now is ask Rick questions. Just know I'm
Well, I
working
think
on
it kind of
that.
is.
Well, I'm working on that with the casino. Okay, I mean, I'm trying to get back to-
Obviously, you guys are tied to whatever the casino is going to let you do, right?
That's the problem. We're locked in for 2 years with the
But
casino.
as far as Bad Boys concerned, right now, Western BCA is our priority event. So you guys tell us what date you want, we'll make it happen. I don't
can
have the
tell
same
you-
restrictions as the other guy.
Thank you.
I can tell you that it's this upcoming April tournament, we are meeting with the casino, and they'd asked us to bring 3 years worth of dates. These are dates past the current ones listed on our website. So yes, we planned on proposing dates, and it's up to the casino schedule if we get the dates we asked for, but we did plan on asking for dates that fall within the winter hotel rates.
But
You know,
the point there is also whether whoever's going to be running the tournament, wherever the tables are coming from, whether they can work with that date as well.
Well, but what we do is we get dates from the casino, then we go to our partners and say, hey, can you do this date? And if
Well, that's not true. We had to change our dates in the past because of other tournaments getting moved. So if we can't get the tables in the beginning of February or the beginning of March, then we can't change the dates with the casino.
We get tentative dates from the casino. Then we go to our partners for the tables and say, hey, can you do this? Then once they say yes, we have this body right here agree to those dates, just like you guys did 5 years ago when we set the original dates. Darcy was president at the time. I was president at the meeting. We voted to accept 5 years worth of dates. So for all those upset about the dates, I cautiously remind you, it was this body that chose to accept them. Not me. I wasn't even president at the time. So at the end of the day, we'll do the same thing that we did in the past is
Who's keeping a list for comments?
and we'll bring them back to this body. And once this body agrees, we will tell the casino we're locked in at those dates. So that's the protocol we follow. If you see flaws in it, I'm open to changing it, but I generally try to follow what Darcy did to keep things simple and sane. Who's up first on comments?
Bob,
Bob, go ahead.
Let's say it like it is. 5 years ago, we changed our date solely because National BCA wanted to move us so they could play earlier. And the board decided to allow that. I was totally against it because, you know, I've been in business a long damn time and I don't change my business strategy for somebody else. And as a result, we went into the summer rates, which everybody was mad about. But I didn't want to move in the first place. So when you say we voted, I believe the board was the only one involved with that. I don't think the membership voted on it.
Nope, they did. I guarantee it was Darcy's last meeting at president. I was there. So if you need Julie to look it up for you, I can ask her to do so.
No, that's fine. It just, my concern was we shouldn't have moved in the first place. And we can move back with the casino's permission, going back to March sometime when we have winter rates. We don't need to, Rick isn't going to have any problems. I don't know if Predator would. Ozzy could answer that.
Let me explain, Bob. Once we give the casino a 5-year commitment, they go book every other event around ours. We are the priority event for the casino. We're the biggest event they have. We lock in, then they go book everybody before and after. And then now I can't move because they got a bunch of other people. I would love to move our dates. I'm all for it, guys. I'm with you.
Yeah, but I just wanted for the record, we moved our event to begin with because Ozzy, BCA wanted it to move to a later date. That's the reason we changed it, period.
And we as an organization failed to look into when summer rates started at the time. And I don't even recall if it was brought up, but I think we didn't consider it.
We didn't have a choice. Yeah, it wasn't a choice. We didn't have tables.
I mean, it's too long ago for me to remember if we talked about it, but I don't think we did.
I remember this very good. We did not realize at the time that summer rates would affect us. We didn't realize that when we voted.
I see.
And but again, I mean, we did have a decision. I mean, I said so in the board of directors meeting. I don't know if I can discuss it here openly, but there were concerns about it. And I went so far as to say, well, let's go back to Valley. I said, let's see if Rick Jones at the time is going to lose our business, or is Ozzy going to stay where he's at? I mean, we're the crux of whether Ozzy could go or not. And I'm not picking on Ozzy, but I would have played the cards, stay where we were. And if we got to go to Valleys, we'll go to Valleys. And Rick's going to be out a bunch of money for not supplying our tables. We did have other choices, all I'm trying to tell you. Thank you, I'm done.
Who's next on the list?
Kelly.
And put Mike D and Sam on the list. Kelly,
Got 'em.
you're up. Kelly,
Me, I don't think I had a question.
okay, next up.
Sam,
Sam, go ahead.
I got you, Arlen.
We were getting way off topic. Arlen has his hand up. We're supposed to be talking about Rick Jones. I'm done.
Arlen.
Thanks, Sam. Darren, as far as I recall, when the vote took place, we were told we can move our dates 2 weeks prior to the national event or 2 weeks after the national event, but we must move our dates because Nationals is holding their event on our time frame. We weren't really given much of a choice other than 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after. So it wasn't like we had a big choice to vote on because Rick was supplying tables to Nationals, which was at that point in time his biggest client, I'm assuming. So we were forced into changing our dates and then locking them in. Now, that's all water under the bridge at this point. I see from my players in my end of the valley and down here in Oregon that, hey, we'd rather go back to March where we aren't paying twice as much money for a room or expenses out to go to a tournament. So the player count in my area has dropped off for participation simply because of a monetary value. So,
Oh, I get it. I get it. I understand.
so we were forced into changing, not really given much of a choice. If you want to look at the cards up on the table, and I
Okay,
agree with
okay.
with Robert on that one. Thanks, Bob, for having that input.
Okay, Mike. Mike D.
Working on it. I'm working on it. I guess first, I'm part of the Bad Boy family. I love me some Bad Boy. I got a Bad Boy shirt on, but I love Western BCA, and that's going through my blood. I think right now we're just pointing fingers in the past. Unbiased right now, all any of us care about, hey, Aussie or Predator, can you get us tables? Would we want tables if we pick inconvenient dates based on when there's another event? I think they're producing tables as quick as they can. Maybe this isn't a problem. All we're really doing now is pointing fingers backwards, and I don't want to do that. I want what's best for Western BCA. I truly do. And I got my Western BCA hat on and my Bad Boy shirt on. That's my question. Let's talk.
Well, we'll get
really
to
care
that.
about.
We'll get to that in a few minutes when we get to Ozzy, and not a problem. I agree with you. We'll get that question answered for you.
Jim
Next-
Knappenberger.
Why couldn't we ask the casino for winter rates instead of summer rates just for that week?
I can tell you that I have asked them for that for the last event. They said no. I pressured them. Tammy and I met with them and pushed extremely hard last October for getting the winter rates for this event. So far, we have not been successful. I
raising them.
agree with you.
And it's not only the casino. I mean, people stay at a lot of different places, not just the casino.
No, but that'll help a little bit. I understand it's not only the casino.
Tammy Coney Bear. Are you good,
Putting a
Jim?
new venue on the table will also pressure them.
Where? Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
that's
we
what I
should,
mean.
I don't
Start-
think we should
start
go
finding
there.
one. Why not?
Who's throwing that in? Are you on the list? Let's stay in order here. If you want to talk, raise your hand.
Oh.
As far as throwing in a new vendor, I just want to address that really quickly. I don't think people realize just how much Chinook Winds gives us to be there. And it's very dangerous to throw out there, find a new vendor, because other vendors aren't going to give us the things that they give us to be there.
Exactly. So look, Ed, real quick on this list, this topic, Rick is central. So if he wants to speak like he does now, let's put him ahead of the speaker so he can jump ahead. Because I want Rick addressing the people's points. We'll do the same with Ozzy.
Yeah, so I just want to point out the question was asked about dates. Bad boys can make your dates. So I don't want that to get lost in the conversation. Western BCA is family to us. We put a lot of years in there. We put thousands and thousands of hours in Facebook conversations to try to educate players. We put hundreds and hundreds of hours in with Ray Cunningham to make sure that you guys eased into the Fargo situation the best way possible. So yeah, Western BCA is our #1 priority right now. So you guys want dates, you tell me what dates, we'll make it happen. So that's my answer to the question that was asked.
Tammy Coney Bear.
Okay, I'm asking a question for Suzanne because she's in a public location.
Yeah.
She says, basically, Rick is here to discuss Bad Boys can do for us based on Western using his tables versus the Predators tables. The question for Rick should be, what are they willing to do for us if we use them at our events versus what can Predator do for us?
Rick?
What is Predator offering?
I'm gonna have Ozzy
I mean,
address that.
we've been
shortly.
offering the best tournament you guys can have. We work with you guys to put on the best event. We bring the best tables. And we got software being built right now. I want everybody to understand CTS, the software you guys all like and love and have been using for a long time. We are a major component of how that was made and how that was designed. So the new program that we're working on right now is going to be bigger and better than that, because now we have new technology we can use. And my programmer's in the chat here somewhere, and you guys can ask him questions if you need to.
CTS is over 10 years old. We're building a new system on brand new tech.
That's Brett, right? Okay.
I got
Correct.
some nerdy questions for him real quick. Will it be interactive with the people's mobile devices?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And let's see, what else? Will it automatically update to Fargo the scoring of the results of the match? Or at least not, if not automatically, immediately thereafter. I mean, whatever.
It will have all the technological interfaces that are available with modern technology. The integration with Fargo is somewhat TBD. I'm confident and maybe cocky, but think I can do better.
All right, well, thank you. Next up, Ed.
Steve Marker.
Steve Marker, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Steve.
I'm sorry. I started running this tournament, took over for Sam Rubito when Bad Boys first started running the tournament, and I've been here ever since. Rick has always said that he tries to run the best tournament that he can for the Western BCA. I think he's did a good job, especially for what we have asked him to do. Okay, and we've asked Rick to do a lot of stuff for us. In my opinion, he's bent over backwards. Now, if we turn around and we talk about diamond table versus predator, the bad part about it is almost every bar you go to, there's diamond tables in there. And how did they get those tables in there? It was us players that turned around and said to the bar owners, hey, this is what we're playing on down at the coast. These are the tables that we would like you to put in the bar. It was the players that turned around and sold it.
Steve, let me stop you right there. The point of what we're trying to do is question and answers for Rick. Then we're going to go around the room, free discussion of all this stuff. So right now we want to make good use of Rick's time and Ozzy's time, ask them questions, get the data we can to make our decision, and then we're going to just go into a free for all of all your opinions and everybody's opinions. We're cool with that. We want your opinions.
Okay.
Everybody. But yeah, we want to just really focus it first on the people who are guests and what questions we have for them, so we can help better make a better decision.
Okay, Rick is, all I want to say is Rick has done a fantastic job with our tournaments. He really has.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Kamatha.
Kamatha or Arlen, whoever it is.
It's me. I'm on the phone trying to unmute. So I don't know if this is a fair question to Rick, but none of us has mentioned the dollar signs yet. So do we anticipate the contract financially staying the same with Bad Boys if we keep Bad Boys?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean, for a long time, our contract was a 4-year contract. This time it wasn't. So clearly we need to sit down and have discussions, but obviously there's another player in the game, and let's see what they got to offer, and then I'll counter that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fair question to ask you that. I've heard free being thrown out with this whole predator stuff. And so I assume you wouldn't do it for free. So it really wasn't a fair question for you. I raised my hand a little early. I was more of a general discussion instead of a question for Rick.
Okay. Thank you. Next person.
Izzy.
Izzy, you have questions for Rick, please?
Yes, concerning that new program you guys are developing, are you guys also going to incorporate that not just for the people running the tournament, but also for the players, especially in singles? Are you going to show in the brackets, if possible, when a match is running late and how late they are running?
Brett.
Anything is possible in software with enough time and money.
We're gonna try to make sure it has everything we need it to have to make sure the players have the best experience possible. Agreed.
Okay. Next question. Who's up next, Ed?
Christie.
Christie.
I just had a quick question about how long do you think it's going to be until the software is ready to go live?
Brett.
I'm actively testing it. I've yet to put it in Rick and Bonnie's hands, but that will be happening in the next week or two.
Excellent. I do have a quick question about that since we're on topic. Rick, do you think it'd be reasonable to, when you do test it, can you maybe include like Ed Slade or somebody, a couple people in our organization as entrants in your little testing tournament so they can look at it and see what it looks like from a player's perspective? Is that okay for you? Were you willing to do that
I
for
mean,
us?
you'll be able to watch the event, and Mike D will be there. We use a lot of the Western BCA people at our tournament, so I mean they'll
just
be
meant
sitting
before
right
the
there
event.
next to us.
I just meant before the event starts if you're doing testing. I meant the
Well,
testing.
so we're gonna do some testing here, but we're gonna use it in our March event most likely. So you guys will be able to see it all in action.
That's
Rick,
what I'd like to know.
I have no reservation about that.
Right.
All right.
I mean,
Next up, Ed.
any other sets of eyes looking at it, telling us what can be better is welcome.
Yeah, that's
Dave
kind of what I was
Chavez.
Yeah, Rick, are you gonna run CompuSport again?
No,
Okay, next question.
I honestly don't like CompuSport.
Well, we can't, oh, sorry.
Elaine.
Yeah, I was wondering along the user testing, I was wondering, Rick and Brett, how about if there was a local tournament within Western BCA's purview in the next month or so, if you could give us the software to use so it would be actually live tournament feedback for Brett, because I think real user testing is very valuable.
Rick, feel free to trump me here, but Elaine, the software is very immature, to be blunt. Any testing would be valuable, but I would want Rick or his crew to be involved to guide that so that it's not just, kind of a mess of new people using new software and not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Brett. I mean, there's always tournaments going on in, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. I mean, maybe you would allow 2 tournaments to use your software. You'd get a variety of feedback in order to help improve it. It would be used during the course of a tournament and very limited who could use it and work with you and Rick and Kobe and your team.
I love the idea. Rick, guide me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob Shipman.
Yeah, I heard mention of Railbirds being back in the picture, and I don't know if that's a WBCA choice or a WBCA and Bad Boys choice, but in regards to moving forward with Bad Boys, would that include Railbirds, or would Bad Boys take over streaming and social media kind of aspects in the future?
Western BCA makes that decision, and it's separate from the decision to rent tables and run the tournament with Rick. So yeah, that's a separate issue.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, Bob Olson, you're next on the list, but give me a second. Kamitha, do you still have another question, or?
I do.
Okay, I'll put you back on the list. Bob Olson.
Yeah, relevant question. Will your software have the ability to record bench scores after each match so that we don't have to manually enter in all the individual single scores to update Fargo? In other words, you enter the scores of each match so we don't have to.
Brett.
I think it's the same question, TBD is what he said.
Yeah,
The idea is it'll record, but it's.
I'm sorry. I don't
Yeah,
want
we
to
want to
be,
avoid that. We want to avoid everybody having to go in and do data so that Fargo can get to it. The data should be out there, so it's just a grab and go. So, yeah.
Okay.
Good, Bob?
Yes, thank you.
Tammy Culbertson.
Tammy, unmute yourself. Tammy, we can't hear you.
Oh, you muted again.
I asked her to unmute. Oops.
You did.
Questions. Are they all gonna be the same balls on all the tables?
I can't hear her at all.
She's asking if they're gonna be the same pool balls on all the tables because at the
Yes.
last, there was some mix up with the matching balls across the room.
Yeah, some balls got stolen off the truck and the shipping couldn't get there quick enough. But
Yeah.
yes, they will all be. Yes.
The same, okay. And then I know that some of the tables will be all the same tables that we had this last time, or some of them were deep, the deep shelf and the short slates.
As far as I know, they'll be all the same.
Mike D, or no, Camitha. Mike D, you're next.
Rick, when it comes to putting up brackets, if the application was a factor, do you anticipate this new application be more conducive for you to be able to put up brackets sooner?
Not sure what the question is. You're
Well,
talking about
people-
doing the draw faster?
Yeah, I mean, the general thing of complaint of how come the brackets aren't up? So I'm just wondering if the new application will
Right,
be conducive for
right.
that.
So it all depends on when Western BCA gets us the information. And then, I mean, it usually takes two to 3 days to do the draws for everything and make everything fit. So
Okay, that's what I was wondering. What's the application? So new application isn't going to make things faster.
yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Mike D.
I have a question that might involve Darren explaining something, but I don't know. Darren, the relationship between APA and Western BCA and the use of the diamond tables, how does that complicate this issue? And going forward, is APA switching tables too? I mean, I know there's some exchange of something back and forth, isn't there, between the tables? Would we be storing 2 sets of tables at the coast? I just know that adds to the complexity, and I think it's important to talk about now and then ask each person what their ideas or thoughts or plans are about that. Ozzy may say, hey, I got to deal with APA, and tomorrow I start supplying them with tables too. And I don't know, I'm just saying it adds to the complexity. Darren, Sam, somebody smarter than me, can you talk about what we do with APA? Thank you. And then and both Ozzy and Rick, how's that relate to you guys once he explains it? Thank you.
So I can tell you, like at this last event, the APA went first, and then our tournament happened after theirs. And there was a short 3 or 4 day gap between the two tournaments that allowed. So to the extent it matters to us is it helped because the tables were and lights were already set up. So we had a minimal set. This was last April, not October. So there's not much overlap between the October-November event between APA and BCA, but there is kind of a closeness in the dates between us and APA. They're normally around the 15th of April every year. So at the last event, they left the tables and lights set up, which saved us money on setup last time. So from our perspective, of course, we like saving money, but as people have already discussed previously, we don't really want to stay keeping our dates in April. We'd like to move them back to March. So it's kind of moot in the sense that we're most likely to move back to earlier March to get the cheaper hotel rates and stuff for everybody. So that would cause a gap between APA and BCA of well over close to a month, at least 3 weeks.
Well, but we haven't.
won't get any benefits.
But we haven't changed dates. I'm talking about right now. Don't we save money somehow by sharing tables with APA And if we change that, won't we not be saving money somehow? That's what I'm asking.
No, we didn't save any money. We paid Rick full price that we paid him in the past, and I think Rick would agree with that. We didn't get a discount. And unless he gave APA a discount, I'm not privy to that information. I have no knowledge of that. And I don't know which direction they're going. So I kind of only focus on BCA, don't really have an APA card or patch. So yeah. But yeah, we did save money on stable setup last time. And this time I'm thinking they'll save money because our event's first instead of theirs. So they'll save the money on setup because we're gonna have to pay to set up the room because our event is before theirs. So we won't
Right,
save
but
any.
you'll save money not having to tear down.
Yeah. So yeah.
I
we
don't
can
mean to
save-
interrupt, but Linda Knight is waiting to be let into the meeting.
All
Yeah,
right, thank you.
so is Kathy Stanley. She dropped and she wants back in.
Okay. Yeah, it's really not showing on my end. Let me scroll up and find it. Thank you. I've got them both in.
Hey, Rick, I'm next on the list. Are the red tables with the red body and the darker tables, the black tables, are they the same
If the
pocket?
diamond, yeah, if the diamond on the table is the same, then they're the same. So if it's a blue diamond table, right? Got the blue diamond
Right,
tag.
right.
on
Yeah, I
it.
know the little decal is
Yeah.
distinguishes different. Okay. Did we have red and blue in the room at the last event?
No, not at the last event. You had red tables, but they were blue
right.
diamond tables. Yeah.
Thank you. Sam, do you have your hand up? Yep, you're up, buddy.
Okay, Rick, earlier you mentioned the March event for the new software to be used at. Which event are you talking about?
Your event. No,
Oh,
no. To use the new software, no. I have a tournament in Oklahoma we're gonna use it at. My
How
bad.
many brackets?
Don't know yet.
Well,
It's a
roughly,
brand new event, so we're gonna test it there. I mean, there's gonna be 3, 4, 5 divisions at a time,
Mhm.
multiple disciplines, team events, bar table, 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball,
minis.
women's divisions.
Do you know roughly?
Obviously, it's not the size of your guys' event, but there's only you guys are the biggest event.
Yeah, but I'm also asking roughly how many people involved?
I have no idea. It's a new event, so
Oh, it is. It's a brand new event.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, but it sounds like it'll be put through.
Yeah, thanks to CSI, Bad Boys has now chosen to go out and adventure the world and create our own events. This way we don't have all the eggs in one basket anymore. That will never happen again.
That's a smart move.
So gonna be a lot of nice bar table events out there for players to go play.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't have anybody else on the list. If anybody else, did I miss anybody or I don't see any hands?
If I may chime in just for a moment, to that question, it seemed like a scale question. The team developing the new software are a bunch of old fogies that are late 40s, early 50s, who have been in software development for 20 plus years. And we are building the system to run a 1 million person tournament.
Awesome.
Hey, you gotta figure, if we figure out how to get 1 million people at a pool tournament, let me know, please.
That'd be a
Linda-
damn big bar.
I'd settle for 110,000 would be nice.
Well, to be able to run tournaments, it doesn't have to be pool. So that's why they're going big.
I got
Linda
you.
Knight. You're on
Linda,
mute.
please unmute
Yes,
yourself.
I'm here. I'm here.
Speak up. Did you have a comment or question?
Oh, no, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I just saw your hand up there. You must have been
Oh,
adjusting.
sorry.
That's fine.
So my original plan was, since we're kind of done with questions and answers with Rick, I wanted to go into discussion, but I'm thinking maybe we just do one big discussion after the end of Ozzy's section. I wanted to give everybody a free chance. So if there's any opposition to that, we can start some discussion now, but it'd be helpful to get it all out of the way if that's cool with everybody. Seems
Could
like
we
it
then
is.
come back and ask Rick questions after the whole thing?
Yeah, we're keeping these guys on the line during our discussion. I think you know, I'd like them to raise their hand and we'll put them to the top of the list immediately to address anything that is said improperly or anything they feel they need to chime in on that was said about them or about their companies. Because I do want these guys to go top of Ed's list the moment they raise their hand, because they're the experts and they're the ones we're relying on. So yeah, so let's hold off on the discussion and let's move straight into Ozzy, if that's okay. I think I'd like to welcome Ozzy Reynolds to CSI. Hello, Ozzy.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and have you start with a brief introduction of what you're planning to offer the Western BCA and go from there. And then we'll go to question and answer.
Sure. So I think there's a lot of confusion out there. So I did something that I rarely, if ever, do. I prepared some written remarks to go through what I think, you know, the big misconceptions that I'm seeing out there. And I'd like to just read through that. And at the end, I'm happy to take any questions.
Go ahead.
All right, so first of all, I'd like to thank the Western BCA Board of Directors and the entire Western BCA membership for having me. There are lots of rumors, assumptions, and misinformation floating around, so it's great to have an opportunity to address all of you directly. One of the things I did in preparation for this meeting was to visit the Western BCA Players Facebook group and read through the comments on the recent threads involving Predator, Diamond, CSI, and Bad Boys. Those comments revealed a few assertions that kept bubbling to the surface, so I'd like to address them one by one. Number one, Predator is offering the Western BCA free tables, free setup, and free tournament direction. This is false. CSI has significant negotiating power. We have leagues in nearly a dozen countries and all 50 US states. We could have taken the normal approach and negotiated a handsome sponsorship fee from Predator to go directly into our bank account. However, we're more interested in long-term growth rather than short-term gain. We believe the best way to achieve long-term growth is to provide superior value to our customers and our partners. Therefore, we reached an agreement with Predator last year that greatly enhances what we can offer our affiliate associations. Part of that agreement is that Predator will supply CSI with tables at no cost for a fixed number of events each year. So it is CSI, not Predator, that is offering free tables to the Western BCA. There would be no transportation or table rental charge to the Western BCA for up to 120 tables for one event per year. The Western BCA would still be responsible for table setup and tournament direction. You could hire whoever you want for those services. CSI currently uses High Country Promotions for setup and direction. We also are building our own in-house tournament direction team, utilizing the full capabilities of CTS. So why would CSI do this? What's in it for us? It's pretty simple. CSI values the relationship with the Western BCA, and we always strive to offer more. Providing superior value is the way to build long-lasting relationships. We currently provide LMS, Fargo Rate, the BCA Pool League scoring app, the premium subscription to the Fargo Rate app, online registration, should you choose to use it, added money for your event, fun day sponsorship, the ability to play in CSI events, free entries to the BCA Pool League World Championships, Littman Lights, and CTS if it's operated by an authorized user. And now we can even reduce your table cost, if you want it, of course. You're free to decline the offer. It won't affect our relationship whatsoever. It's simply an offer to a valued partner. Number two, this is a Trojan horse offer. It'll be free for a short time and the price will skyrocket once Diamond and Bad Boys are out of the picture. CSI's agreement with Predator has an initial 5-year term. We would provide this to you for the duration of our agreement with Predator. We expect our agreement with Predator to renew after each term, but of course, nothing is guaranteed forever. So what happens if the tables aren't free forever? Well, you would pay for them just as you do today. Although I don't know the details of the Western BCA Bad Boys contract, I do have reason to believe that you're currently paying a premium for the table delivery, setup, and tournament direction. So if you're already paying a premium, there seems to me to be very little to lose. Number 3, Predator tables are not better than diamond tables. This is neither true nor false. This is subjective. I'm not a Predator salesperson, and I'm not here to convince you that Predator tables are better than diamond. In my opinion, they're both great products. What I can say is that we have used them in 6 events over the last 7 months, and the reaction has been very positive. Generally, people are initially resistant to any kind of change, so we expected an initial backlash. However, that never happened. The ratings of the Predator tables in our post-event surveys have averaged 4.0 out of 5 stars, and participation in all events since the switch has been off the charts. Number 4, CSI refused to let Western BCA use CTS last fall. This is false. In 2020, we projected significant future growth. So we retained a business attorney to review our business practices and advise us on a range of issues to handle that growth. One of the recommendations was that everyone who has access to CSI systems must sign a non-disclosure, non-compete agreement. This is standard business practice. CTS is an incredibly powerful tool that costs several $100,000 to develop over the course of more than 10 years. It can manage an event of any size with relative ease, and it is also the only such tournament system in the world with Fargo rate built right in. However, there's a catch. Those with full tournament access can see player profiles, membership data, financial reports, and much more. Because Bad Boys had access to this proprietary information, we asked them to sign our standard non-disclosure, non-compete agreements. There was nothing overly restrictive about either. For example, the main clauses of the non-compete simply specified that if CSI and Bad Boys terminated their relationship, Bad Boys would not operate a competing pool league and would not run a pool event within 200 miles of a CSI event on the same dates. Over the course of nearly 2 years, Bad Boys continued to refuse to sign those basic agreements. Maybe it was paranoia, maybe it was something else, I'm not sure. But we were finally left with no choice but to terminate their access and our relationship. Western BCA has a contract with Bad Boys through 2023 to run Western BCA events. And from my understanding, Bad Boys is responsible for providing software. Unfortunately, we can no longer allow Bad Boys to access our systems. We would, however, absolutely provide CTS to the Western BCA if it were operated by an authorized user. Number 5, CSI moved the CSI Expo dates to conflict with Western BCA with no consideration for the Western BCA whatsoever. This is false. I personally traveled to Portland to attend a Western BCA meeting in late 2017. After the meeting, I had a discussion with several Western BCA board members. I informed them that we were considering moving our Las Vegas event from July to February. February dates were available at the Rio for 2023 and beyond, but the event would have to be in March for 2020 through 2022. Because 2020 through 2022 would present a conflict, we asked the Western BCA for their blessing. The Western BCA leadership said they would meet with Chinook Winds and see if the dates could be adjusted. CSI agreed to not move forward with any change until we got the approval of Western BCA. Sometime later, the Western BCA leadership confirmed that they could move their event by a few weeks. Then and only then did we modify our contract with the Rio. Number 6, CSI wants to take over the Western BCA events. This is false. CSI has no interest in taking over Western BCA events. We don't meddle in Western BCA affairs, and we only step in to help when we are asked. Number 7, without Bad Boys, Western BCA would lose access to diamond tables and Littman lights. I could be wrong, but to the best of my knowledge, Bad Boys does not own a single diamond table or a single Littman light. I am confident that if you want diamond tables, Diamond will make those tables available to you, whether you hire Bad Boys or not. I'd be happy to provide you with a direct contact at Diamond if you don't already have it. Regarding Littman lights, I am almost certain that the Littman lights Western BCA has used for the last several years came from CSI and not Bad Boys. For example, after our March 2022 event in Las Vegas, Bad Boys took approximately 90 Littman lights out of our inventory to Oregon to service your event. Mike Littman was kind enough to agree to drive them back himself for the upcoming CSI Expo. Thanks, Mike. Those are the primary points that I could ascertain from the threads. I hope I've explained them in sufficient detail while being respectful of your time. I'd like to close with a few thoughts, and then I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have. CSI is simply offering to help the Western BCA reduce its cost. You can decline the offer and continue using diamond tables. You can choose to continue using Bad Boys. It won't bother us at all. Even if you choose to continue using diamond tables, CSI will still make CTS available to you if you want it, as long as it's operated by an authorized user. CSI still has a great relationship with Diamond. We allow the local Diamond distributor in Las Vegas to use part of our warehouse. We allow Diamond to park their trailers in our parking lot to save them time and money. We speak periodically, and I think we like and respect each other. There is no animosity between CSI and Diamond. I'd like to offer a little advice, and it may be worth what you're paying for it. There are a few people on the other side of this issue that have intentionally thrown smoke in front of you to add confusion to the point that you don't even know what's being discussed. They relish the Facebook drama. They send their people out on social media to do their bidding. They infiltrate your board of directors to create division in order to swing a vote their way. They believe that gaining and using leverage over you is the best way to do business. We have decided to not work with anyone who approaches business that way, and we are a much stronger company today because of that decision. Who you do business with is totally your decision. I just hope you don't fall victim to those tactics. The fact that I'm speaking with you today shows just how great of an organization you are. You make decisions only after gathering information and having careful deliberation. This is reminiscent of 2017 when Mike Page and I were invited to attend a meeting in which you guys were discussing switching to Fargo rate. It may seem like a no-brainer now, but it was a hotly debated topic back then. One day, perhaps you'll look back on the upcoming decisions regarding tables, cost, tournament software, and tournament direction as obvious ones that did not seem so obvious at the time. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Ozzy, appreciate it. To start off, go ahead and open the floor to questions. Let's get a list going first, and then we'll let you talk. Ed, can you please start writing down names and acknowledge them as you've written them down so I can put them in? Ed, did you hear me?
I got
Okay.
myself and Paul Purdy and myself, Bob Olson, Sam, Michael, Paul, if you want to start off, I'll continue making a list. I don't see anybody else's hand up.
I saw Arlen. I
Okay.
think.
Arlen?
Thank you. So my question is, again, I'm a little bit confused. You're gonna get two bids, one from Bad Boy, one from CSI. So CSI bid, that would be consisted of 3 separate bids as far as tournament software from High Point, them running the tournament, lights and tables. But Bad Boys would be all in an all-inclusive bid. That's my question is, from this point is you would get bids from both companies and one would be all-inclusive, but one would be 3 separate bids. And go ahead.
Let me go for 1 second. Rick, would you mind answering that question? Would you be willing to provide 2 separate bids, one for table direction and one for table rental? Because historically he hasn't.
You're on mute, Rick.
My bid will be for tables and tournament direction. That's what we do.
Its tables include lights.
Yes. Yes, and we will have Lippman lights.
Paul, are you good?
Okay, and then my next thing is for the Western BCA, from my knowledge also, would this be for a 4-year contract or a 5-year contract type of bid, or just per year?
The objective, it depends if this body votes to accept the Predator tables in April, because my plan was, if they do accept them hypothetically, then I would come back to everybody and say, vote again, whether they stay after that. To me, I think it's useful to try it because opportunities like this don't knock very often. So try it. If you don't like it, don't keep it, and let's go for a long-term contract after that. I like to keep our options open so that this body has the flexibility and power to make the decision that it feels best. But once they've decided after, let's say they decide to stay with Bad Boys and Diamond, then I'd probably lean towards a longer term contract because there's no point, the Predator offer would likely go away or be more cost inefficient. I can also explore that cost. But I think once this body has made its choice, then I feel like the contract committee is free to make a long-term agreement. So I think it all depends on which direction this body goes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm on the list. Ozzy, was your contract for tables, lights, and tournament direction?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Was our contract?
If your proposal to us, would that be for tables, lights, and tournament direction?
Or
Is
separate?
that what you said?
Well, so we have an inventory of Lippman lights that we'd be happy to include. Tournament direction, we're still building our tournament direction team. But yes, if you guys wanted a quote for that, we'd be happy to supply it, or you could hire any other company of your choosing for tournament direction.
And you're gonna use High Country for Worlds this year? Are you gonna continue with High Country?
That's the plan.
Okay. Bob Olson.
Yeah, Ozzy, I'd like you to explain, I was rather concerned a few years ago when you came up with the USAPL, in that we had a contractual agreement with your company and basic contracts are in good faith. And we work in the best interest of both parties. And when you came out with a new league that not directly, but that is somewhat a competitor to us, that really bothered me because of good faith efforts. Could you explain what your decision making was to create another league that could be a potential competitor to us? And I think some people have went to USAPL, left our organization, and I know from my point of view, it doesn't matter from you if you have 2 leagues or not, because it's either going to come in one pocket or the other. So could you explain your decision in creating another entire league?
Sure. So full disclosure, I wasn't around when the USA Pool League was created. I was still in Virginia at that time, but I can understand certainly why the decision was made. The USA Pool League is a very different type of league with a different structure aimed at a different market. Do some players cross over? Does it share some crossover in the market? Sure it does. We don't view it as competing. We have many areas where the USA Pool Leagues and BCA Pool Leagues coexist peacefully. And in fact, there's some synergy between the two. There tends to be players start out in the USA Pool League and graduate into the BCA Pool Leagues. That tends to be the natural progression. As far as competing with BCA Pool Leagues in the Western BCA territory, respectfully, I disagree with that. In fact, our one USA Pool League in the area has always wanted to join the Western BCA and be part of your organization. And that's been declined many times over the years, unfortunately. But no, it's a different market. It's a different type of league aimed at a different customer. And we have seen no evidence anywhere that there's been any degradation in either league where they coexist together.
Okay, so for complete clarification here, you had nothing to do with USAPL. That was before you bought out the organization that you're now with, correct?
It was created before I came on board.
Okay, well, that makes a difference. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sam.
Hi, Ozzy.
Hey, Sam, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Looking forward for in a couple of weeks. Do you or CSI have a financial interest in Predator?
No, not a direct financial interest. We obviously want our partner to do well. That's where our financial interest starts and stops. But no, they've been a wonderful partner. We're not part owners. No, we're two completely separate organizations that are trying to help each other succeed.
Thank you. That's all.
You're welcome.
Michael Cho.
Well, I'm a numbers guy, and so realistically, you've already stated, people are kind of against making changes just in general. Rick says he needs your proposal to be able to make a counter proposal. So realistically, I don't think that, every player that I've talked to is if I'm a player rep and I'm repping 30 players, I've talked way more than that, and none of them wants to make this change. So, from what, I don't know if it's something that we can actually be privy to, but that information from you would probably go to help your cause out of how much we're actually going to be saving here. Because without that, I can't see this as even being a discussion, really.
Michael, I can address that for you. Our contract currently with Bad Boys, and this is all on the financials Jackie releases to everybody, so this isn't secret information. She releases it every month, asks you guys if you have questions, and then nobody reads it. So let me tell you, because I do read the financials, we are scheduled for this upcoming event to pay $16,000 in table rental to Bad Boys. And you can juxtapose that if we accepted Ozzy's offer in 2024, would be zero for table rental. Am I understanding that correctly, Ozzy?
Yeah, transportation and rental. If I could, I'd like to respond briefly to that.
Good.
CSI is not in the tournament business, right? We don't go around the country running tournaments as a source of income. We conduct tournaments usually with the help of subcontractors as a benefit to our members. We're not competing to steal the Western BCA contract and run your tournaments. We're simply making an offer to include the Western BCA in an agreement that we've already negotiated. And you're free to accept it or you're free to decline it. If the Western BCA and its membership decides, hey, it's too risky, we want to stay with diamond tables, no problem. No problem at all. We're just extending an offer.
I appreciate the clarity there, Ozzy, and your response. I guess my question is really like, how much is the difference, and where would the difference be seen for the player? Like if I can, with that information, that extra information, all of a sudden the discussion with these players that I'm having might change a little bit. As for right now, your assumption that people are opposed to change is very valid.
Yeah, so I would assume you would have to look at the Western BCA financials to see what the difference is. Because what I'm saying is, with the Predator tables for one event per year, transportation would be 0 and table rental would be 0. So you would have to compare that to what you're currently paying.
We're paying 16,000 to Bad Boys for table rental. So if you compare 16,000 to 0, that would be the analysis. If we did go with them on some sort of table direction or tournament direction, we could possibly save more money. But yeah, it's a minimum of 16,000 for the April event. And I mean, my calculations were, if we went with CSI for tournament directions as well, we'd save another 7,500. That put it about 23.5. So if you wanted to know what would make Western BCA whole on both accounts, if we, on an apples to apples level, we would have to charge a $23.50 fee during an April event in 2024 with diamonds to equal cost savings. So that's more for comparative analysis and simple understanding of large numbers. I don't see us charging an additional fee if we went with Diamond and Bad Boys in April 2024, but I wanted to find a way to break down the numbers in a simple, understandable format so people could wrap their minds around it. So, does that help you, Michael?
I think that that's what's been missing. I think that there's discussion about, people are like, there's potentially the tables are changing. They're like, well, I don't want to do that. I've seen some bad things or whatever. And I'm used to this table. I have one at home. All the bars that we're playing at have them for a variety of reasons that everyone has brought up so far. There's opposition to change, but the thing that would make their argument and what's being presented here is savings. So how much is it, and where does that go? Does it actually go into payouts of prize pools? Where does it go? Like, are we saving money on entries? That's the information that could help Aussie and that side out. As of right now, it's not a big discussion for me as a player rep. Every single player that I've talked to has been very opposed to the change.
Let me address it real quick. The bottom line is, if we had the savings and we voted to go that direction, instead of choosing to spend the money myself, which I don't think is a good way to do it, I would come back to this body with 3 or 4 spending options for this body to consider. And then I would implement the option that this body thought was the smart route to take. So you can put in the back of your mind, we could consider lower green fees. We could put on a third tournament. We could spread the money across April and October, which is kind of how I think we should consider. I would like both tournaments to continue succeeding. I wouldn't dump it into one. So I would come to this body with a list of options and choices of every option I could think of. Let you guys sit down and decide how to spend the money. Because it's, I mean, I don't mind deciding where we spend $100 here and there. That's not a big deal, because those are just decisions that have to be made without a big meeting. But we're talking a large number. I think this body should be involved, and that's what I plan to do if you chose to go the Predator route. So I can't tell your players where we'd go. I can tell you there's lots of options on the table. You could have more added money. You could have lower green fees instead of added money. You could have added money across 2 tournaments. The bottom line is it goes to you guys. I don't get a penny of it. Okay, I do this stuff for free, and so does all the volunteer staff. So, I mean, the bottom line is the players are going to benefit. That's the bottom line. So I want to stay focused, everybody, on questions for Ozzy. Then we're going to get into these debate type topics where Michael is transitioning us to. Stay focused on questions for Ozzy. Then we're going to move to an entire discussion period. So next up, please address your question to Ozzy. Ed, who's up?
Okay, so just so people can put their hands down, I have Arlen, Rob, Mike Lippman, Jeff Potter, Lawrence, Julie, Kamitha, Jackson, and Elaine on the list. So everybody relax. If I didn't call your name, put your hand up. So Arlen.
Okay. Ozzy, my question to you is, you mentioned that we would be getting 120 tables per year for an event. We typically use 80 tables at our event. So that's 40 tables that would they be put onto a, say, our 8 or 9 ball event and only charged half of a fee for the other half of the tables that we use? I'm concerned because one event a year, when we typically have 2, using 160 tables, just rough numbers, I guess. That's more than what the offer is at this point. So monetarily, what would it cost us for the other event that we put on? And my second question is more directed towards Darren. If we went with Ozzy's option, what's that going to do to green fees, since we are getting the tables listed to us at a free rate? Green fees typically, don't they cover the table rental?
Yes, they do. And that's why I would have to come back to this body. I don't think myself or the board of directors has the power authority to direct green fees anywhere without your guys' permission. So I don't know what you guys are going to decide. I'm telling you, I promise you, I'll bring it to you to give you a choice. You can we change the green fee to an admin fee and keep the money and put it in the tournament in the form of added money. We would lower the green fee. I prefer it go to some sort of added money. That's my personal recommendation. I can't say that that's what we do. So you guys would decide what's best for you, and that's how it should be in my eyes. I don't want to be the one deciding this big a number.
Okay, great. Now back to Ozzy. What would that, being the 120 versus 80 that we use, what would happen with our next event? Is that going to carry over 40 of those tables?
No, so what we can offer is one event per year, up to 120 tables. So that second event that you have, presumably you would take the free tables in the spring, because that's the bigger one. In the fall event, you would simply have to contract with, High Country or someone to bring in the tables and set them up.
Okay, great. Because I'd love to see the balance out on that, as far as what Rick's offer would be to do these 2 events yearly versus what you're offering to do yearly, so that we as a group could vote on that and decide. I mean, that's where I'm at with it. My players are at with it. My players, I'll tell you right now, don't want to change. Everybody is resistant. So that's where we're at. But thanks for what you do, and we'll take a vote later, I guess.
You're welcome. Thanks.
I'm going to interject real quick, Arlen. If we did go to a 128 table event, which I think is possible within that 5-year window, so 2, 3, or 4 years down the road, I anticipate the casino will have a facility to hold 120 tables. And what Ozzy's saying, if we do expand to that number, we could also have the up to 120 for free. So I think if we did try them out, like them, want to keep them, and then decided to keep them for the remaining 4 years, we could then possibly grow for free, which is kind of nice price. But
Yeah,
anyway.
but we're really going to get you on those extra 8 though.
Okay. What casino is that?
I'm hoping that Chinook Winds Casino will have an expanded facility within 2 to 5 years. I don't know. They keep promising, and I still hope that they will. They've built the parking garage. They know they have the plans to build the other thing. They've seen them.
All right, let's stay on topic here. Rob Shipman.
Yeah, thanks. Covering a little bit what Arlie covered is the second event was my main concern. Ozzy offers up. Ozzy, thanks. You came in here really well prepared and covered a lot of everybody's questions right off the bat. But the big surprise to me was you're offering one event what about our second event? We need to know what the true cost basis of that second event is. We know what it costs us with Bad Boys and Rick. Also, we know that Rick is committed to the dates that we want to run our events. Are you committed to the dates that we want to run our events? That'd be my huge concern with Predator, and to share what everybody else is pretty much league reps have already shared. 99% of the players that I've spoken to, members that are non-voting, are against this change as it stands right now. Not to say they can't be swayed, but there's just not enough information to support anybody wanting to change to Predator at this moment.
So are you asking Ozzy what a second event would cost? Because that kind of sounds like what you're asking.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with choices going forward, right? Like, what is that second event going to cost us? Is it going to cost us 30,000? Is it going to cost us 16,000? What the second event would cost us from Bad Boys anyway?
Let me chime in. I mean, given the resistance to change, the second.
Can't hear you, Darren.
Can't hear you at all.
Weird. Says I'm unmuted.
You just muffled.
Okay, so I felt like given the resistance to change, we would probably stay with Diamonds in October, regardless of the outcome of the April event. I felt like it's a bridge too far to even consider switching both events until we've tried them for once. So the vote I'm planning to bring before the body is whether or not we try them one time in April 2024. So that means the exact cost would probably be the cost Rick charges, which I can just tell you the current contract would allow for 16,000, the same as we've always, we paid last event. So, I mean, if you really think it's beneficial to get an apples to apples comparison, I'll be glad to get that. But I can tell you, I did have an initial conversation with High Country, and they felt like it'd be somewhere in the ballpark of what Rick's charging is their best guess, that they didn't know exactly what he's charging. So I think they're going to be competitive in the marketplace. So I don't think it's going to be a financial windfall either way in October, or a financial loss. It's going to be right around the same price. So given that, I felt like people would probably just stay with Diamonds if the cost was essentially the same. So, okay, does that help?
You good, Rob?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Northwest Cup, Mike Littman.
Hello. Hi, all. Hey, Ozzy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, busy.
I bet.
I got a couple questions for you, and then I just kind of wanted to clarify some things on lights. Although it sounds like I'm not going to be able to completely clarify, but we'll figure it out. I was going to go to some things that's already been discussed in the last couple of minutes, which has to do with that the offer is for one free event per year, not two. So we need to know obviously what the cost would be associated with the second event. And then also, if I heard you correctly, the offer was for the table rental and hauling, but not for the running of the tournament. So we obviously would need to know if is that something we would have to go to High Country and ask them what I thought that there were going to be representatives here from High Country today, but I'm not sure if they're here or not. But would we have to go to them and ask them what they would charge to run the tournament, or how do you envision that working?
Yes, you would have to get a quote from them or anyone else that runs tournaments.
Okay. My second question for you is regarding dates, because this is something that I hadn't really thought that much of, but is a huge factor for people is the effect that the tournament date has on the rental rates in the area. If you can share with us, first of all, how a potential conflict or interaction with BCA Worlds would affect the offer to provide Predator tables. Do you need 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after BCA Worlds in order to make that happen? And if so, do you know how far out do you know, and what are the dates that you have at this point with the Rio for your event?
So currently, we are contracted through 2025. Those dates are, I'm sorry, was someone speaking? Must be feedback. Currently contracted through 2025. Those dates are on our website. It maintains the mid to late February start date for our event. That's where we intend to stay even when we renew. Your other question, what was the other question? I forgot already. Oh, would tables be available if there should be, you know, a conflict or not much time between the two events? That actually is a very good question, and it was brought up earlier, and I made a note. That's something I'm going to have to ask Predator about, to be quite honest. I don't know if they have more of an inventory than what's needed at Vegas to supply, for example, Western BCA with tables at the same time.
Okay. All right, I think that's all the questions I had for you, but I just did want to say a couple things about lights and just to clarify a few things. I don't like to, you know, divulge contract information whenever I can avoid it, but in this particular case, I feel like I'm kind of compelled to. I think you and I need to have a conversation offline about how our contract works as far as the use of the lights, but I feel like I do need to make sure that everybody understands that the lights that are in use for your tournament as well as for the Western BCA are, I own them, but that you and I have a consignment contract where you're able to use them for your events. Where I think that you and I need to discuss is whether Western BCA, if you are offering the Predator tables, falls under that umbrella. And if it doesn't, what would need to happen in order for you to be able to use them? So I think we should have that conversation offline. The other important thing that I think is important for people to know is that for the upcoming event in April, Rick and I have come to an agreement where he is purchasing lights. So he will have his own lights that are his outright for him to use, you know, whenever and wherever he wants. So there will be Littman lights at the upcoming event, and they will be slightly different than the ones that are in use now, but they are, I promise everybody, just as good, if not better. But I just want to make sure that everybody out there in the meeting knows and understands the dynamics as far as what's happening with lights. And,
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I was pretty careful in my wording to say that they came from the CSI inventory, not that we owned them. But yes, that's absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think with you and I knowing what our contract is, it's very painfully obvious, but I just, you know, unfortunately think it's one of those things that's going to have to be made public as far as what, you know, the dynamics of how that works. And then if anybody has any questions for me, I'll be here till the duration. So otherwise I'll just sit back, continue doing the work that I'm doing here. So appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for all you do, Mike. We appreciate you.
Quick question, if I may, please. Is there any chance we can use Predator lights? Or do we have to use Predator lights down the road? If we go with Ozzy?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, yes, it is.
No, absolutely not. You can use whatever lights you wish.
Thank you.
Jeff Potter.
Okay, so Ozzy, you were talking about following Facebook posts. I follow them also. Rumor has it that CSI is confronting other leagues about using Predator tables in their events. Number one, Chinook wins APA this coming fall. Is that true, or what's going on with that?
Can you repeat the question again, just so I'm clear?
So I follow the Facebook posts and things, and questions have been asked on there. That rumor has it CSI has confronted APA about taking over their APA Chinook wins event with Predator tables. And you were saying you're not trying to take over events, but if that's true, it just sounds like to me you are.
CSI has not contacted any APA event anywhere to do anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lawrence.
Hey there. Rob and Mike answered most of my questions. I do have one question. Who does light setup for us right now? Is it Bad Boys that does light setup?
It's
yes.
Darren, we can't hear you.
Yeah, Western BCA hires a crew of people that helps out in the light setup. Bad Boys provides the lights and they help us hang them. We work with them to hang them basically. So, I
Okay,
can't
so we
say-
basically do our own light setup then.
kind of with Rick's help. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a teamwork thing. I know our guys help and his guys help.
Yeah, and for Ozzy, what is, do you know what? I don't want to get into too much details of it. I know the events figure for nationals or whatever. And High Country runs your events, so I assume that number should be comparable, even though it's probably like twice as big, right? I'm just trying to figure out the cost because if without High Country here, we don't know what it's going to cost us for that one event a year. I know that Rick probably doesn't want to split up events, and I don't know how he feels about that either. So that's basically my questions.
So are you asking me how comparable are High Country's prices to Bad Boy prices?
Yeah.
Comparable. Same,
Okay.
same ballpark.
Right.
For
And we do our own light
our
setup.
events. I can
we
only
do our
speak
light
to our
setup.
events.
We do our own light setups then if we go with you guys. Okay. That's it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Julie,
So I have a few questions regarding your statement and then just a couple things. You made a comment that there are people infiltrating the board and manipulating the board. As a board member, I'd like to know what you meant by that.
I have seen examples where some people develop friendships, strong friendships amongst some of your board members and use that to drive a wedge between your board and your membership. And sometimes, quite honestly, in my opinion, it works. And I'm just offering a word of caution against
I
that.
feel that's a little insulting to board members. That you feel that someone could make a friendship that would make us not do our job as board members.
Oh,
So
I never said that you wouldn't do your job. I'm just saying the tactics are in play.
And then you also made a statement that when you came, I remember when you came and we talked about Fargo when you guys came to our meeting and you said at that time you talked to Western BCA leadership and they agreed to change our dates to what you needed. They said they would talk to the casino and agreed if they could get the casino to change. I would like to know who those leadership members were. Is that Darcy? Was that the board? Because I just went through all the minutes just now and the dates were never voted on. The membership was never given a choice. We were told we had to change the dates. Nobody was ever told there was any choice. So I would like to know, I was involved then. I would like to know who made that decision without giving the membership any choice. And since you brought it up.
I can't tell you who made the decision, but I can tell you we met with, it's been a long time ago, it was several people, but the two that stand out to me was Bill Henderson and Darcy at the time. There were a couple others that are not coming to memory at the moment.
And then my last question is that the CTS on demand, as BCA members, we pay $20 a year to BCA or USPL, however you want to put it. And on your website, there's a list of things that we get as benefits from them. One of them is the use of CTS on demand, which was denied to us because we didn't apparently, as you put it, find someone that was authorized. Nowhere on the website does it say in order to use it, we have to use someone authorized. So my concern is, are there going to be things like that in the future that we're signing up for and saying we're going to use, but then it's going to be, well, yeah, you can use those tables and you can use those lights if you do it our way.
I don't know if I would phrase it our way, but the reality is for someone to use CTS and its full capabilities to sufficiently run a tournament of your size, they have to have total access to everything in our database. So yes, whoever does that will need to sign a non-compete and non-disclosure and be trained on how to use it without making some horrendous mistakes. In the past, it hasn't really mattered because Bad Boys and CSI were connected at the hip and they were fully trained and they were running tournaments and we fully supported them in that endeavor. But now things have changed. So we couldn't, as a matter of business practice, simply hand it to anyone with no caveats or restrictions.
And then was I understanding the last question that you were given by someone else? You can at this point tell us that those tables could be provided for us in the beginning of March if we were to change those dates. You don't know that yet.
I don't know. I would have to ask Predator.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Gamatha.
Ed, before you go on, I just want to mention that the dates I'm considering for the next 3 years after the ones on the website is March 10th through 20th. And that will get us the winter hotel rates and not conflict with Worlds, is my understanding. So that's what I'm considering, and I'm going to be working with the board on the dates and so forth. But that's the initial consideration I'm thinking of. Go ahead, Kamatha.
Okay, I would like to talk about the statements about maybe, first of all, the inflating the payout. So where I see we're at is that the Predator contract would replace, say it's the same value as Bad Boys. Say you throw out a number 16, 15, I'm gonna say 15 for ease. So Bad Boys, that portion is 15,000 for each tournament. Predator, if we go Predator, we get one tournament for free. The next tournament, like 9-ball, that would still cost us 15,000. So really we're only saving 15 grand a year. So if we were to get all that surplus of money over the next 5 years, you talked about different ways. We go back to the board and say, where do we spend this money? Well, I know that the green fees help fund and cover that expense. So because entry fees go straight back to the players and payouts. So it's all about the green fees help cover that expense. So realistically, we're only gaining 15 grand a year for the next 5 years. So if we were to elevate the payouts for the next 5 years, in 5 years, then all of a sudden we have an expense and those payouts are going to drop. So this is something I'd bring to discussion when we talk about what to do with that extra funds, Darren. That's something I would totally bring to the table. It's like, wait a second, we don't want to elevate our payouts for 5 years and then boom, all of a sudden we go,
You have a
all of a
question
sudden,
for Ozzy?
excuse me?
I mean, we gotta stay on topic. Do you have a
I'm
question for Ozzy? Because this will be for group discussion. I'm sorry, Kamatha, but we got to stay on topic here.
Well, then I'll re-ask my question when you authorize it. Thank you.
Jackson.
My questions have been answered. Thank you.
Elaine.
Yeah, hi. Ozzy, thank you for clarifying one thing, that it is CSI offering the tables and not Predator. Okay, I think some people were under the misconception. Couple questions. Is High Country, for the people who've been going to Western BCA a long time, is that what Gary Benson's company was called, who used to run the tournaments?
Yes, that was Gary Benson's company. He unfortunately passed away, I think a few years ago. And his son Shannon is now running the business.
Oh, okay, thanks for that. And then I appreciate that you did the outline, and I think there's a lot of questions that you answered for the people. Would you be willing to allow Western BCA to post that document so that people would be able to see what CSI's responses are?
I'd be happy to provide that.
Okay, so we posted on the Western BCA website.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, and then further, sorry, I'm going through all my notes here. So just to make sure, I want to say I have it right. The software would not be included in your contract. It would be tables, transportation, and lights.
If you use an authorized user, we would not charge you to use CTS.
Oh, okay. And my last question is, you said you were developing, I think you called a tournament direction team. So would that be in-house CSI team that you would no longer then be using High Country or Bad Boys or some other, you would have your own CSI tournament direction team?
We would have our own team that was capable of coming in and running an event should need be.
Okay.
We have no plans to not use High Country. That relationship is working well. But we feel like after this experience with the separation with Bad Boys, we have to have that in-house capability should we need it.
Got it. So it would be like a backup if you decided to no longer work with Shannon Benson, I think you said his name was. Yeah.
Or if we're double booked, right? That happened this year. Oklahoma,
Oh,
Puerto Rico were double booked. So there's a number of reasons why we would need to have that capability in-house.
okay. And I have one last, like, probably really crazy question, but as everyone stated, most people resistant to change, blah, blah. No one really has played. I know 2 people who have played upon a Predator table. There are none around. Do you think some could be donated somewhere that people could try them out in each of the states of Western BCA so that, you know, people could get a taste of them? The only people who will be those going to Vegas, and they will have their own opinions.
I could certainly ask.
Well, thank you very much. That's all I have.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Steve Marker.
Thanks, Eddie. Ozzy, I'm not gonna get into dates and stuff like that, but I just wanted to let you know, I was at that meeting that you attended. Okay, and I know who the people were that, but anyway, I don't want to get into that. What I want to find out is kind of what everybody's been wanting to know. How are these tables? I heard Mr. Filler turned around and said that they weren't worth a crap and left a tournament. I've heard many of the pros, and I've got the billiard channel on my TV set, so I watch a lot of billiards. And I'm telling you, some of the things that I've heard has not been positive. So can you tell me about some of the problems and whether those problems have been fixed?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So full disclosure, I'm not Predator. I'm not a Predator rep. I'm not an absolute expert on the tables, but I'll tell you what I know. So the problems that people keep referring to all come back to a single incident. And it was at our tournament last year. I think it was in March of 2022.
Recording stopped.
And it was the pro event. These were the 9-foot tables, which are designed completely differently than the 7-foot tables. But the
Hey,
issue,
Darren, the recording, I'm sorry, the recording just stopped. Darren, can you reset that?
He had to step away for a second.
should I wait until he can?
Well, I won't, I can't write down word for word what he's saying, so whatever.
Get,
I have
get
no
his
problem
mic.
waiting.
Maybe Kelly can help you.
Okay.
It's been an hour. How about we just take a 5-minute break? I mean, it's been that long. I have no authority to do
that.
this. I would give it to Ed to take a break, but I mean, it seems like a time to take a
I
short
think
break.
this is
all right with you,
important
Ozzy?
enough that we should have it recording.
Exactly.
Is that all right with you, Ozzy?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Everybody knows where this is going, though. I mean, the tables have been publicly
Let's just take
dogged
that
on were
5-minute break.
9-footers,
Hold
not
your thought,
7-footers.
Rob.
5-minute break. 5.
Ozzy, you still there?
Yes.
Just to let you know, I ran a poll on AZ Billiards, as I'm sure you're familiar with, asking players what they Predator versus Diamond. And I ran a poll for 2 weeks. The response was very little. And I asked them, please vote only if you have played on both tables. Western BCA is considered going to Diamonds and to Predators. Comments welcome. 15 voted that Predators were better than, Diamonds were better than Predators, and 2 said Predator tables were better. Now, the thing that I want to report that I think you need to explain is these tables are still new. And as you know, AZ Billiards is probably one of the biggest outfits for billiards on the internet. And the point I'm trying to make is only 17 people responded because there hasn't been that many people play on it. And even though it's 15-2 on a vote, two people did in fact say that they thought the Predator table was better. Bottom line is it's still real early in regarding that. And I completely agree with you, Ozzy, that the 9-foot diamond tables was a shipping issue from what I understood, and they should not be considered. That was, I think, a fluke more than anything. So I don't know what you feel on that, but I
You
think
said
you're.
nine-
I think
You
I
said
think
9-foot
these conversations
diamonds.
need to wait until we're recording again and everybody's paying attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
So are we going to take 5 and come right back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Unmuted.
Yeah.
Steve Weekly, you still on here? No, Steve.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey man, PM me. I got some information for you.
Cool, buddy.
It's about a sponsorship.
A sponsorship, huh?
Yeah, the one we've been talking about for about 2 years. That I got to sit down this week with them and finalize it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you and Ed knows. You know, if you think about it, you know who they are.
Is this a secret?
No, Striker Rods is coming on board, guys.
Cool.
So I still got a few people on the list. I got, and people still have their hands up. Everybody that has their hands up still wants to speak?
Yes.
I do real quickly about the survey I took on AZ Billiards.
Yeah. Cool, cool.
Thank you, Ed.
And then I've still got a couple questions on the possibility of in-house administration of a tournament system.
Okay, I got you down.
Thank you.
And I took my hand down since Ozzy's in the process of answering my question.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Yep.
No.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
And Paul Purdy, are you wanting to speak again?
Yes, please, Ed.
Okay, thank you. And Kamitha, I got you on top of the list for when we get the old free-for-all going.
Free for all.
Oh, Lord.
We're
I'm
gonna have a
back.
big wrestling match.
Just to let everyone know, I'm back if you guys are ready.
They also need to realize that this free.
I think Darren had to drive somebody somewhere or something. I don't
Ed,
know.
I'm surprised you don't have your trophy sitting next to you.
It's right here, man. You want to see it?
Yeah.
I don't understand why
Oh
you
my
turned on
God.
the recording.
All right.
No, we don't
Guppy's
want
in the room. Where's Dykeman at?
Put that thing away.
That's pretty sad. He
what's
takes
up, Bob?
that's pretty sad. He takes a Facebook picture with that trophy riding in the back seat.
I swear to God, I think he loves that more than his wife.
Yeah.
Hey, I put
Jesus.
a seatbelt on her too.
You sleep with it too, Ed?
She's not coming up and banging me in the head when I rear end somebody.
Hey, wait a minute.
you
Ed
sleep
sleeping
with
with
that
a
trophy,
trophy
Ed?
is information we don't need.
Yeah,
We do
that's
not
it.
need to know what Ed is sleeping with.
All right.
Oh, Lord. You do prize that, and I can't blame you. I can't blame you for that, Ed.
You gonna bring it to Lincoln City, Ed?
Hell yes. Just for a visit.
It's in Northwest Cup.
Visit Oregon.
Oh.
Hey, if you're sleeping with it, is that what you're considering a trophy
Hey,
wife
hey,
now?
hey, that's just TMI, buddy. You had a chance to sleep with that thing too.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So my Windows decided to run an update and restarted my computer. Did we lose everybody or they all stay
We
on?
lost the recording. So
Ed, can you try to hit the record button on yours? Because you're logged in as me. That might be part of the problem. I don't know, but can you hit the record button at the bottom and see?
Got to email Josh too.
Record. I don't have a record button at the bottom. Stop. Question. Settings.
So I can find it.
Video.
I've got a record button at the bottom, but it says permission
Recording
needed
in
from meeting
progress.
host. Oh, there we go.
Hey, somebody found it.
I did, yeah.
Okay, if everybody, let's get back, everybody. Let's get rolling again. Steve, I think, who was it? Steve and Ozzy was answering Steve's question?
Yes, okay, so the question was, okay, we've heard a lot of problems with the Predator tables. Some from the pros. There was a report that Filler had turned around and actually pulled himself out of the tournament and said the tables were crap, and that there's just been a lot of bad press about the tables. So my question to you, Ozzy, is has the problem with the tables been fixed?
Yes, so the issue that gets all of the press and what leads people to say there's, quote, lots of problems with the tables was a single issue last year at our tournament where I forget how many 9-foot tables we had, but some of them came from areas of the US that we were using for the US Pro Billiard Series. And some of them were actually shipped from Austria. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. Some were shipped from Austria, some were shipped directly from the factory in Spain. The issue was the ones that were shipped from the factory in Spain were shipped in such a way, it's going to be hard to describe, but if this is the slate, there's sort of a jack screw on the cart that you tighten against the slate and you prepare it for shipping. That screw was tightened too much, certainly to be in a shipping container on, coming across the Atlantic Ocean. And a few of those tables, when they arrived, had a crown slate because of that. That was the issue. The ones from Austria were fine. The ones from the US were fine. There's been really no real issue in any other event. The tables played great. I have one here in my house, as a matter of fact. But that's the 9-foot table. The 7-foot table is completely different. It's not even the same design. We were actually invited to go to Spain last June, I think, to look at the tape. They had several different versions of the 7-foot table built, prototypes, if you will. And we were invited to come look at the table, feel the table, play on it, on all the different ones, and offer our feedback on what we would like to see from a pool table as far as a playability standpoint. And we were honored to be invited to be part of that process. Normally, company makes a product and you take it or leave it, right? You can use it or not.
Right.
We were invited to be part of the process. How big do you want the pockets? What do you want the facing angle to be? What about the shelf depth? What about cloth and rails? We were invited to participate in that, which was pretty cool, to be honest. So with our input, they developed what they're calling the 7-foot Premier League Edition table. And we have used that table in 6 events over the last 7 months. And we do post-event surveys after every single event. And we expected, purely because of just the initial resistance to change that we see with anything, not just pool tables, that there would be an initial backlash, just like there was with Fargo ratings. When we first rolled out Fargo ratings and switched from the old ABC system or the Advanced Master Leisure thing, it was as if we had ruined pool. It was such a tremendous backlash for about 2 years. We expected to see the same thing because, let's face it, Diamond makes a great product and they have built their product to be the premier table in the market. There's no question about it. And I'm not here to tell you Predator's better. Again, that's subjective. People will come to that conclusion on their own. What I will tell you is the reception has been way better than we ever expected this early. The tables, in my opinion, play great. And we're very, very excited about the future. And our participation has been through the roof. Vegas this year is 40% larger than it was last year. It's phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Ozzy. I appreciate it very much.
You're very welcome. By the way, it was Jason Shaw, not Josh Filler, that walked out.
Yeah, it was Shaw. Christy.
All right, I got a few things here, so I'll be quick. Question for Ozzy. You're saying that if we use the CSI software, we need to have somebody who's trained and authorized as a user. Are you guys willing to train a few people if we have volunteers that want to learn the system?
Yes.
And will that cost us anything to get trained on it?
I mean, you know, maybe flights or something, but it's certainly negotiable. No,
Okay.
nothing outrageous.
Okay, the letter that Elaine said we should post to the website, I think it also should be posted to the Facebook page. Because not everybody goes to the website except for when they're originally registering, but everybody's on the Facebook site. So I think that's gonna be the best way to get that information out, your rebuttal to those points. Another question I have is, if we decide to go with CSI's offer, I'm not gonna call it Predator's offer, I'll call it CSI's offer. Are we required to do both events with you, or would we still be able to do like the fall event with Diamonds if we wanted to? We're not required to do Predator tables at both events, correct?
Nope, completely up to you.
All right, and then those surveys you were talking about that you did after the events on people providing the feedback for the tables, can you provide those official results to us, to the board, or to the Facebook page or whatever? Somehow we can see what the actual feedback was, the actual comment, because no offense, you're kind of biased, so I'd like to see what the players actually said.
Sure, no
You're a
problem.
salesperson, you know, it happens. So
I'm actually,
it would be nice
if I
to
was a
see that.
salesperson, we would probably be much more successful, but thank you for that.
And then Ryan, I have a question for Rick. Darren is suggesting that I think it was 2024, we try the tables for one event. And that way we can get feedback from our members as far as what they like better. Would that impede our ability to contract with you? Because I do have a background in retail. The better product always rises to the top. So that way we have our players looking at it. Would that impede our ability to have a long-term contract with you at that point? If we try that for one event?
I'd have to think about it. You know, it's a mathematical thing for us. So, you know, I'd have to think about it for a little bit. I could answer that in a week after I do the math and stuff, but yeah, I don't have an answer for you today.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bob Olson.
Yeah, Ozzy, we spoke earlier about diamond tables and predator tables, but it wasn't being recorded, so I thought I'd bring it up again. I did a voting thing on AZ Billiards, and 88% of the people said that diamond tables played better, and I only asked players that had played on both. It was a very small outcome that said that, 15-2. The fact that 2 people thought the predators were better somewhat surprised me, but nonetheless, it's very early to make that decision. And regarding to what happened in the first event with Predator and the 9-foot tables, it was my understanding it was a shipping issue that caused the tables to get warped in the middle, where they had to run a screw down the center of the slate. But anyway, I've watched a lot of other Predator Pro events. I have not heard any other complaints on the pro events regarding Predator tables. Now, obviously, I think diamonds are the best, no question about it. But at the same time, our Predators, do they play good? It's awful early to tell. And this smack that you're hearing on Facebook about Predators being no good, most of them never played on one. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with anything you said, Bob. You asked me for my opinion. I think both tables play great, Diamond and Predator.
Okay, Paul Purdy.
Okay. Ozzy, with currently doing our events at the Lincoln City and setup and teardown, there's Rick, his son, and everybody there for assistance with tables. So with the future, if we were to go with Predator tables, in the future, is there going to be somebody there from Predator to assist throughout our events with tables out of level, miscellaneous, or is that going to fall upon the WBCA to re-level tables throughout the event and to work on the tables themselves?
So we hire High Country currently to run our events, and they provide the table mechanics to make adjustments as needed on the floor. So it would be and Bad Boys currently does that for you with diamond tables. So it would be the same situation.
So if we weren't gonna hire, if we were actually to use, let's just say CTS on demand, it would be up to the WBCA to find some volunteers to take care of the tables throughout the event also.
Or hire a company that has authorized table mechanics, such
Okay.
as High Country, for example.
Okay. And then what is the difference as far as setting up these tables in comparison to the diamond tables? The diamonds, we just flip them over and put the legs on and, level them real quick and they're good to go. Is there a big comparison? Is there anything different?
So I'm probably not the best person to answer that. I can only tell you what I've seen. The tables are on their sides. You put the legs on, flip them over and go.
Okay. And then one final question. I know the WBCA is looking at other events, or they have in the past looked at other casinos to include on, to add for additional events rather than just the two at the Chinook Winds. Is with what Predator and CSI is currently doing throughout the United States and setting up events, do you see that restricting us as far as logistics as getting tables in the future if we were to have, let's just say, a Wild Horse event in June? I mean, how many tables are actually available? And logistically, does that cause an issue as far as trucking and delivery, stuff like that for the future?
Yep. So I'm not the shipper. We don't have the tables in our warehouse and we would not be shipping them to you. That would be someone else. But I'll tell you my assumption. This kind of dovetails with the question that came up earlier that I have to ask Predator about. Like, what is the inventory? Do they have more inventory than we need for Vegas? And if your event was close to Vegas, would that pose a problem? This is kind of a related question. My assumption is the only event of the year that currently puts a strain on the inventory is the Q Sports International Expo. So if you have another event in some other time of the year, I would assume that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Elaine?
Yeah, one last question, Ozzy. You had mentioned the rails in Spain. When you went over there to check out how the tables were built. So I ran into Damien this weekend at a tournament, and I asked him a few questions, and he said the rails, are the same. So do they play the same, in your opinion? That was one question. And the second thing was, I believe he said that the tables, and I don't know, he didn't clarify 7 or 9, but that they played much faster, and that from feedback from players or whoever, that they were thinking of adjusting the composition of the cloth. Is that true as well?
I have not heard that. I don't know. And so that was the composition of the cloth question.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that, so I don't know. The question about the tables playing fast, in my opinion, probably stems from the events that these tables have been used in. In most of these events, the tables have been brand spanking new, never played on, brand new cloth. So if you recover any table with good high quality cloth, it's going to be super fast at first. Versus what you may be accustomed to, at least sometimes when you get the tables currently from Diamond, I'm guessing they're not always coming with brand new cloth.
Okay. And what about
That
the
would be
rail
my
play?
assumption anyway.
And about the rail play? How do you feel about that?
Personally, it plays great.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't see a difference?
No.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Kamitha?
Yes. Ozzy, what do you see as a long-term benefit with using Predator? So what I see for us, and I don't know if it's for nationals as well, but the table cost is free for 5 years. So yes, if we were to, well, actually, after 5 years, what's the benefit of using Predator? Because after 5 years, like you said, then the cost is there again. So they're going to start charging us. So what's the benefit of using Predator for us if it's only saving us table fees for half of our tournaments for 5 years? What's the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year benefit of using Predator?
Okay, I'll give you my opinion on that. So what I said earlier was our current contract or our current agreement with Predator is 5 years. And we expect that to renew into the future, but hey, nothing's ever guaranteed. So let's say that it doesn't, right? And you're faced with the prospect, do we pay full price for 2 events per year for the next 4 to 5 years? Or do we get one of those events for the next 4 to 5 years at a significantly less cost? I would say that's your benefit, right? That would be one of the benefits anyway. It's kind of like saying, well, I don't want 3 months free on my mortgage every year if I can't have all 12 months. So the benefit would be there's a cost savings, and you could use that cost savings for whatever the Western BCA deems appropriate. For us, the benefit with aligning with Predator, and this had nothing to do with Diamond. Again, we have a great relationship with those guys and make great product. And who knows, we may work again together in the future. But I can honestly tell you, after we've been working with Predator pretty closely since 2019, that's when we started hosting the World 10 Ball Championship at the Rio, when we kind of, quote, brought back the pro events. And getting to know the owner of Predator and the whole team over there and seeing their approach to business, their approach to relationships, and their approach to competition, I can't imagine having a better partner. They aren't just concerned, they're in business, right? We're all in business to make money and grow and prosper. But that's not their only concern. They are just as concerned about us succeeding as they are about themselves succeeding. And you rarely see that. You rarely see that, in my opinion. I've read all sorts of nasty comments about Predator and predatory business practices and all that kind of stuff. And I can't speak to anyone else's experience, but I can tell you with our experience, they are a top-notch company. They do what they say they're going to do. And your decision to switch is not an easy one. And you can certainly stay with Diamonds and you'll be just fine. You won't suffer one bit. You'll stay with the product that's already considered to be here. We were faced with the same decision, right? Us switching to Diamond tables, in my opinion, posed a much greater risk to our business than it would for the Western BCA. We've been using Diamond tables for a long time, and we've become known as the organization that uses the best equipment. And here we were faced with a decision to switch to something that's totally unknown. It had never been played on ever, anywhere. The 7-foot table had never been played on. And here we were, we're going to switch to something and expect this initial backlash. To us, the decision, we had lots of staff meetings, debates, the same kinds of questions were raised in our meetings as you're raising right now. At the end of the day, though, I turned around to my staff and I said, who here thinks Predator will fail? It was this quiet. Predator is not a company that's going to fail. Will there be hiccups? Will there be speed bumps? Will there be lessons learned? Absolutely. We're still learning lessons every day, and we've been doing this for a lot of years. But will they fail? Absolutely not. They're not a company that does that. So when considering what to do and what's in our best interest long-term, I could not imagine having a better partner, to be honest with you.
Cool, thanks, Ozzy.
You're welcome.
Rob Shipman, you're last on the list. If anybody else wants to speak, get a hand up.
Quick, easy question, not a big concern, but I assume Predator tables would be played with and supplied with the Predator Arcos 2 ball set.
That's actually a great question, but yes, that's the balls that we use.
Becky Potter.
Jeff wants to know where the Predator tables are made. In Spain, is that? Okay, they're made in Spain.
Yeah, for what it's worth, when we were invited to go to Spain, we went to the factory. They actually have 3 separate facilities, 3 different factories within driving distance of each other. They're, I have not toured the diamond factory. That's probably equally as impressive, but the SAM factory in Spain was amazing. It was an amazing experience to see the capacity that they have. The assembly lines, they do more than just pool tables, by the way, they do other things, but we got to know the leadership there as well. And it was a wonderful experience.
Kamitha, did you have another comment or question?
I do. Quick
I'm
one.
sorry. Okay, go.
Are the tables open? Would they be open for us?
Are they coin op or are they just open tables? Ozzy?
No, they're not coin op tables. Predator is going to make a coin op table, but the tables we use are not coin ops.
We don't ever want to see any of those.
Nor do I.
Thank you.
Rob, is your hand up again?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to bring up one other question. This isn't really for Ozzy, but for WBCA. I thought I saw note that we would have a couple Predators at the next event for trial. And even Izzy has commented in the comments if there was going to be, some kind of assurances that everybody kind of has a chance to play on those tables.
Yeah, let me address that. The plan was to try to put 2 tables across the hall. Recent discussions this week, we found out we're not allowed to have the room across the hall from our event room. So what that leaves us is we will go ahead and put 1 table inside the event room where the queue lockers were stored with Dave Lauer, and I've spoke with them. So we'll probably only have 1 table there. I still got some work to do to secure the table. I'll need to talk with Ozzy offline, and I have another option to get a table. But basically, we're trying to get 1 table in the corner in between the streamer and the Biggle Box booth. We wanted 2, but it looks like 2 is not going to happen as far as space goes. So that's where we're at.
Okay, Mike Libman. That's it.
All right, everybody.
Mike, here you go.
Hang on. Sorry, just real quick. I'm sorry, Ozzy. I know you're not a Predator salesman, but I can't find this information online anywhere. I believe I've heard that the playfield area on the Predator table is 78 by 39. Do you know if that's true?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know the pocket size?
4.5 inches.
4.5. Okay. And I know they don't have coin ops, but does the cue ball get sorted? Does the cue ball go up table or does it go where the object balls go?
Oh, that's a great question. I believe it goes down in the tray in the bottom with the other balls.
So it just, and so there's no, whatever cue ball is used there's no need to use a red strickler or whatever.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the coin op tables obviously would be different, but no, the tables we use, they all go down in the bottom tray.
Okay. Do you know anything about the coin ops that they have in Europe?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sam.
Yes, I've already asked because being a referee and at nationals, whether the tables were to BCA rules, to the specs in the spec book, and the answer was a solid yes. They answered to all the specs that are specified in the equipment pages. So if that answers your questions or helps, great.
Harlan.
Hi, my question is really to Ozzy. You said that you couldn't see a better partner moving forward for the next 5 years. 5 years ago, did you say that same thing to Rick Jones?
Bad Boys did a great job for us for a long time, and they're good at what they do. But times change. I kind of went through that in my opening remarks as to why the relationship went sour and ultimately ended. But honestly, as far as what kind of job they do, they're great at what they do.
Anybody else I missed? I think that's
Can
it.
Rick,
Darren.
can,
All right.
can Rick address why that
I know, I got
relationship
it.
went sour?
All right, well, hold on, Julie. Let me start with, now that we're done with questions from Ozzy, I did want to give Rick the floor to see if he has anything to say or add from what he's heard as far as what impacts, might have contract or what he would offer us, whatever he has got to say. Let's give the floor to Rick Jones.
What was the question, Julie?
Can you address what went wrong in that relationship and this contract and why you guys parted ways?
I can make that available so you guys can put it up with Ozzy's notes. When you guys put that up on your Facebook and your website. But yeah, it just boiled down to he wanted us to sign a non-compete and the timing, and then a promise made that he didn't keep. So at that point, we had to call it quits.
Okay.
I'll chime in from a software guy perspective. Ozzy is about making money. Rick is about servicing pool players.
Okay, Rick, do you have anything else to add about the stuff that Ozzy has said? As far, does it affect any of your contract terms that you can talk about now and what you'd offer, or how would it affect us?
Well, I think that's why we have negotiations. I mean, I gotta see what you guys want to do, and then we can go from there. You know, I don't know what you guys want yet.
So we got a couple more hands up. Steve Marker.
Gotta unmute, Steve. Gotta unmute.
I'm unmuted. My hand was up for the free for all time.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a jump on the game.
Get it. Get it. Jump on it.
Okay.
All right, do you guys want to jump into the free for all right now, or do you want to take a break? It's up to you guys.
We just took a break. Where were you? Are we all good? Do we need a break?
No.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Steve. Steve
Go ahead,
Marker.
Steve.
Okay. Here's my thing. You know, when I first got involved in all of this and stuff like that, and you can ask Sam, because Sam has probably known me the longest. The first thing we wanted for this organization was we wanted red circle cue balls. We didn't want to have to use the weighted pool balls. Then all of a sudden, here come diamond tables. Diamond tables was the thing. You know, everybody loved them. They fell in love with them. Of course, some of them did have problems, okay, at the very beginning. But bottom line was Diamond made an impact on the pool world as we all know it, okay? And the thing about it was we loved the table so much, we went and told the bars, hey, this is what we're playing with down at the coast. You know, we really want you guys to turn around and buy these tables so we can play on them, practice on them. It was the pool players that sold Diamond tables for Diamond. It wasn't Diamond, okay? And I listened to the video that the owner of Diamond had put out when they first turned around and put out the Diamond table. And I'm telling you, this guy got so much help from the pool players. Not only that, we had pool players that was actually working for Diamond, turned around and selling their tables to bars. And we had several of them in our league up here in Portland. So, you know, now we've got all these Diamond pool tables in the bars, and now we're going to have a new table to play on. Okay. And the bad part about it is we're not going to be able to get that new table in the bars to turn around and play on it. And if we asked a bar owner to buy it, they'd say, what are you pool players nuts? You think I can go buy a pool table every 5 or 10 years? You know, what's the deal? So, you you know, my concern is we have a table that we play on, we like, you know, we enjoy, and now we have to play on something else. I'm done.
Kamatha.
Is it free for all now? For sure, for sure?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay. I wanted to comment on the where the money would go. So when we talk about the tables being free, since we flushed out that's only free, but I mean, we flushed out the fact that we'd save one tournament. So say that's 15, 16 grand a year. That surplus, not necessarily a surplus, but the money that goes into Western BCA, Darren, you throw out a couple ideas, and that's what I would throw out to the on the table too when we actually get to discuss this. But whatever we do, if it's elevating benefits to the players, if it comes a monetary, such as payouts, higher payouts, or lower green fees, that a benefit will expire in 5 years. We could bank on hoping that the contract will be renewed, but that benefit will lower. So when we do payouts, it's not beneficial to our players to have really high payouts and looking great for 5 years, and then boom, all of a sudden we have to drop those payouts down because our expenses already went up. So these are just comments. And then furthermore, the tournament direction. So when we talk about the 15 grand, that is just for table rental. Sounds like we're still going to have to pay for tournament direction services, and through Predator, or I forget what company you mentioned. So, you know, we pay Bad Boys for tournament direction. We pay this Predator company, whoever it is, for tournament direction. We do need to do our due diligence and identify exactly what that entails. Does it mean that we can have as many divisions as we want? Does that mean that we can have as many mini tournaments? Do we really control them and ask them to run a certain number of mini tournaments? So there is a little unknown of what the tournament direction cost, how that would change. So that's just about it. I just want to make that comment. If we go to our players, if I go back to my league and say, oh, well, yeah, we're going to save so many thousands of dollars a year, and payouts are going to go up. Oh, but it's going to go down in 3 years. I don't think none of us want to do that to our players. So that's it. Sorry, that's it.
Good job. Paul Purdy.
Yeah, my question is for Rick Jones. How many years have you actually been running the tournaments at the Western BCA?
15 years.
Yeah, I think we brought tables in 2006, maybe 2007, and then we started running it the following year.
So when you're running your tournaments, whenever you're running it, how many people do you have there running the tournament per day?
To run it efficiently with the minis and everything, I usually bring in 6 people.
Okay, so with that, over the 15 years, I know at the beginning, because I was there at the beginning, 3-4 hour time delays, the amount of time that you guys spent and the way that you guys have created a culture there has been greatly improved since the beginning of this.
Yes.
So what do you feel about a new team coming in there? What do you think the downfalls of that is going to be?
Well, all right. So here's how I'll address that, because that's a good question. So Gary Benson was a good friend of mine, and we followed him. Gary, however, ran a tournament totally different than we do. Gary would do whatever you guys wanted him to do. If you guys said, run this, run the races this way, he would just do that. And that's why you had 750 players and you guys were playing till 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, for some of you, Bad Boys is annoying. We like to fight for the player and make the tournament run the way it should, in our eyes, for the players to have the best experience. That's why we had to battle the races and all that stuff. And now you have 1,500 players. We added 2 days and nobody plays till 4 in the morning. They play till 1. So bringing in somebody else, you have to ask yourself, are they going to fight for the players? Do you even want that? Maybe you guys don't want that anymore. Or are they just going to do whatever whoever's in charge that year tells them to do? And I know that's caused us some grief with some of you, because we fight for the players, and every 2 years you guys bring in a new president or a new board or something like that. And, you know, we have to stand up and fight for the players again. Hopefully everybody understands that and gets it, and hopefully you guys are cool with that. But yeah, that's what you'll have to deal with. If they bring in a whole new team, what are they going to do? Are they just going to run brackets? Or are they going to, you know, do whoever's in charge? Are they going to just do whatever those people say? I mean, it could end up being, you know, you're playing at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning again. I don't know. If it's not my team, I don't know anything about them.
Right. And that's what I just don't, I know what you guys have done in the WBCA from the beginning for 15 years ago. And yeah, I'm not happy with you guys a lot of times. I'm not, but I know you guys do a good job at it. You know, you guys take care of the players. Okay, so outside of taking care of the players, how much work do you guys do on the tables throughout the week that you feel that somebody would have to, well, we'd have to find somebody to do that too?
Well, I mean, that depends on who you're bringing. I mean, we bring 2 guys that at night they clean the tables. We try to clean the balls every other day. I don't know what the other guys are going to do for you.
Well, it's just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I don't know about. You know, that's the reason why I ask these questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, no problem.
Julie.
So I'm kind of with Kamatha on this. I keep hearing certain numbers. I still don't feel like I have a clear indication of what this offer is entailing and what we still pay for. I understand we're going to have 16,000 in savings, but we're still going to pay for setup, and we still have to figure out the lights, and we have to hire a company to run it, and we have to hire a company to service the tables. So I'm not sure that those savings are all that huge. I'm surprised to hear that Darren talked to High Country, because I would feel like I'm on the board and I don't understand it. It really 50% of what the offer from CSI really entails. So I would like to see a comparison. I would like to see, this is what we pay Bad Boys. This is what we get for it. This is what we're saving if we go with the CSI offer, but what we are still going to have to hire out and make this change. And if it is guaranteed for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years, that's going to change, I think Kamatha makes a very strong point. And then we're taking payouts away. We're taking something away from our players because we are going to be paying more at that point.
Can I comment?
Yes.
Okay. So just to give you guys perspective, the tables, when we bring them in and set them up, is 16,000. The tournament direction, believe it or not, is based off of the math that Gary Benson was doing your events for. Now the numbers have clearly have grown, but we did the tournament direction based off of $5 per entry, $50 per division, because if your event grows, we make more. If it shrinks, we make less. But you know what your cost is based on entries. So let's just put the big number out there. Let's say 25,000 is what we get for March. And let's say CSI gives you all of that for free. If you look at what you guys do in March and October, that would only be about $40 to $50 more per person that got paid. So if you did your payouts, you would only add $50 per every payout. That means 75% of the people would not see any benefit at all. So as we have all these conversations, I just want to finish with this statement. For the best result for Western BCA, I believe, and obviously it would benefit me, but I believe for the players, the Western BCA should extend our contract to the end of 2025, like we normally do. At the end of 2024, make your decision on which way you want to go. That buys time for you guys to see our new program. It buys you guys time to see the Predator tables, what CSI is going to do, if those tables are going to handle the road good enough. And it's going to also show you whether High Country can get to events on time or not. So And that's a dig because they didn't show up in Penticton on time and they started 8 hours late. Honestly, we have never started a tournament late, so that's my parting shot.
Jeff Potter, were you done, Julie?
Yeah, the only other thing I had is, I also think that we all have to remember that, I think our biggest goal is to get our dates back in spring. I mean, I think that's huge to everybody. I know we're gonna lose people this time because we're in Easter. And I think that we want to be sure that if it is decided to go with CSI, I want to know that we can get the dates we want, not the dates that we have to have. That's it.
Jeff Potter.
I don't see why we're trying to fix something that's not broken. Rick's done a great job. We play the table. We love everything that he does. So we're trying to put a Band-Aid on something for a couple of years. Give Rick a contract and move on. That's all I got to say.
Mike Littman. You're on mute, Mike.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, sorry. Let me put my hand down too. What are we doing right now? Are we like voting or what's going on?
Discussing.
Sorry to be a
Discussion.
So we're just discussing our thoughts on what's going on.
Yeah, we're done answering questions to Rick and Ozzy for the most part, but they're here. We're
And-
trying to
okay,
talk
so-
amongst ourselves. Our feelings.
Okay, so just real quick, can someone answer me when we're gonna have bids and when the vote on this decision is gonna be made?
Yeah, the objective is to have bids by the next meeting. And I'm hoping to be able to, once I secure the Predator table, which will be early this week, I'll send out another meeting announcement for a meeting at Lincoln City. So
And that's when you plan on voting on this in Lincoln City?
that's the plan. I mean, I don't think Rick wants us to drag this out till May or June or July. I think everyone would like this to get resolved. So I'd like to.
Can I say something about that, Aaron? I mean, we've tried to have meetings in Lincoln City before. And logistically, it is a nightmare because you have people playing at all different times and you are gonna have so many people angry if they want to come, if they're members and they're player reps and they want to come vote. You're gonna have a meeting at like midnight when everybody can be there, because otherwise you are gonna have people that are playing at the time of the meeting. We've tried twice to have meetings down there and it was just a nightmare. It's different if you're having a league operator meeting or I mean, I guess you could have it at 8 a.m. or something, but just keep that in mind that people are playing at all different times. So you don't want anybody feeling disenfranchised that they can't be there for that vote because they're in a
That's what I was
mess.
that's what I was just gonna suggest, Julie, is since, we are kind of in charge of the schedule, maybe have one at 8 or 9 in the morning and just start the matches at 10 o'clock that day. It shouldn't delay anything too bad by 1 hour, I wouldn't think. But then we'd have to make sure to keep the meeting really short and not a 4.5 hour like today.
Ain't gonna be a 1
Which I
hour.
don't think that's gonna happen either. I mean, it's just being realistic about it. We can all
I
say,
know, I'm
"Yes,
just
let's
throwing out
meet down
another
there and
another
we're gonna meet
suggestion.
at 7 a.m. and we'll be done." And it's, I don't think it's gonna go that smoothly, so.
No, I'm not.
You good, Mike Littman?
No. So, okay, well, I don't know. I guess we'll figure out when the actual vote is going to be, but I'll just say my piece, I suppose. To me, well, first of all, we don't know what the numbers are right now. I think we learned a lot today, learning that the offer on the table was for one free tournament, not two. I don't think anybody knew that, as far as I know. So that was some clarification, but I think in the end of the day, once the bids come in, to me, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are. If it's, if it's a $16,000 savings or a $10,000 savings or a $20,000 savings, when you spread that out over 2 tournaments per year at 1,500 players per tournament, whatever the number is. And by the way, I believe participation would be lower if we were to make the switch to Predator tables. I think some people wouldn't come. So there's that to consider. But when you do all that and you say, hey, if I'm in the money, I'm going to make, $25, maybe more, or whatever, the number is. To me, when the decision comes down to You heard it from Ozzy himself. He doesn't care whether we make the switch or not. It's no difference to him. When Rick is concerned, it's his livelihood. So I'm going to go with, supporting the guy whose livelihood is at stake, the guy who's a known entity for 15 years, the product that's been a known entity for 15 plus years. I can't even find specs on the Predator table online. What size is it? What size are the pockets? How does the cue ball get sorted? Any of that information? Why do we have to jump to this decision so quickly? Just so, half the people who don't money aren't going to make any more money. And then the ones who do maybe make a few bucks and can go throw it in the slot machine and lose it in 5 minutes. To me, it's a no brainer. Sorry. That's my 2 cents.
Let me
Okay,
address
thanks,
a couple.
Mike. So I
Let me
got,
address a couple. Ed, hold on a second. Let me address a couple things. Number one, like I had said earlier, this membership would decide where the savings and money would go. One possible option is reduce green fees across the board. So that would help. As far as table specs, I think Sam mentioned earlier, they're the same as listed on CSI's table specs in their manual.
No. He said they were to BCA spec. BCA spec can mean all kinds of things. That doesn't.
Okay, I thought that, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what
Valleys
Sam.
are BCA spec. Olhausen home tables are BCA spec. Brunswick Gold Crowns are BCA spec. They're all different sizes.
That's not true, Mike. What I was referring to was the angles. If you look in the beginning of the rule book with the equipment, it goes with a degrees, a 15-degree face of specifically of the pockets. I mean, I think basically it was designed on a diamond table. I don't know that for a fact. All I was saying was that I asked about the specs because if it's in the rules that the tables have to be up to specs, and the answer was yes. The tables are up to the BCA rules. Look in the rule book. The specs are there.
I'll take a look, but I can tell you that I'm pretty sure I have this right, that the table size is 2 inches shorter and an inch narrower than a diamond or a valley. I don't know what the pocket opening is, but I know that pocket openings can be a number of different sizes as far as the throat opening, and still be within BCA spec. What's going to happen is between the faster cloth and the smaller table, you're going to have a bunch of people who are overrunning shape all weekend long and aren't going to be happy. I mean, that's just my opinion, but we don't know. We don't really know because it's an unknown entity versus, the known of a diamond entity is, I don't even know why it's a discussion. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
You good, Mike?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm on the list, and I want to say that there's no way that we can lower green fees because green fees are $15,000. If you lower green fees, you're not saving $15,000. You don't have $15,000. So green fees have to stay or you don't get anything out of this. Nothing. That's all I got to say. Michael Cho.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So basically the same thing that you guys were saying, except for Rick was saying if it goes to payouts, then the majority of people won't see a benefit. If we do spread it out even wider, and like you were just saying about green fees, we won't get any benefit unless the benefit is to just eliminate the green fees. So then the question becomes, do you want to play on what most people consider to be a lesser table to pay like $20 less? Like, is that worth it? Because I don't think it is. And I think it's a pretty easy discuss. I don't even understand really why we're having this discussion really.
You good, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sam.
Well, we're supposed to discuss this. That's why we're having the discussion. There's absolutely no vote going on today. This is information gathering, and we're talking about it. We are doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing as an organization. I could show you the rules all in there, but I mean, the on the rule page, the specifics of how the pockets and the table has to be is very, very specific. And I'll be checking that out when I go to Vegas. Everybody that's going to Vegas, they'll be checking out the tables. since it's possible that we might be using High Country Productions to run our tournament, I think we should talk to them and meet them and see how they're running the brackets and see how they're doing everything. We might as well gather as much information as we possibly can. I didn't.
Ed,
want
I'm going to chime in on something real quick.
Sam, are you done?
Yeah, I might.
Ed, I want to chime in on something real quick people have mentioned. The reason we're having this discussion now, because like Ozzy said, it's time sensitive. We will not possibly, if we say no to predator tables when we make our decision, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we will only have a choice to rent them. So I'd be derelict in my duties as president if I didn't bring a potential $80,000 savings to you, calculated at 16,000 times 5 for those who like math. I think it's my responsibility to bring the savings to you and let you consider it. So that's why we're doing it now, because in the future that won't be there to consider. So it'll be just like an apples to apples thing. So I think it's important to talk about big numbers with this group.
Okay, you good?
Yep.
Right now I got Tammy C, Bob, Rose, Elaine, Paul, and Julie on the list. So let's go with Tammy Culbertson.
I took it off. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Bob.
One thing we need to consider, again, I've been in business a long time, and there's a thing called loyalty. We've done business with Rick for 15 years. Have we had ups and downs? Yeah. Did we work it through? Yes. Does he supply an excellent table? Absolutely. Probably the best in the industry at this point. My concerns are, as sincere as Ozzy is, I think probably the Predators aren't as good as Diamonds, but they're not a bad table. I'm sure they're playable. I'm sure we could get used to them. But my issue is they're still new. There's not a long track record. There's not been a lot of people that's played on them. You know, back the president's statement said that, well, we went from Valleys to Diamonds not knowing. Well, Valleys were junk and we all knew it. Now we have Diamonds. We know they're gold. Why would we want to consider changing it on something we're not sure at? If Ozzy were to present this 2 or 3 years from now and the word on the street was Predators are just as good as Diamonds, which can't be stated, because they don't have a track record, I don't think we change. We stay where we're at. Again, we've done business with Rick for 15 years. There's a thing called loyalty, and we know what we have. We're not certain where it's going to go with Predator, and all due respect to Ozzy. Ozzy's a great business person. Look what he's done for the pool world. You can't say enough about this man. But again, we have a proven track record. Let's stay with it. I'm done.
Rose. Rose, did you have your hand up?
Sorry, no.
Okay, Elaine.
Yeah, thanks. If Darren, if we are able to secure a Predator table, it might be wise for us to put together, you know, everyone's going to want to play it, of course, a survey where, you know, they're just checking boxes so that it's fast. And if they play on it, you have to fill out a survey, right? And, you know, we can say something about be respectful or whatever. But also you were mentioning the possibility of placing it over where Dave, Emerald City Q-Man, puts his lockers. I just want to mention that that is right by the main streaming table, and there's probably going to be a lot of action, people wanting to play on the tables. Maybe that would be a little distracting and noisy. I don't know, but I just want to throw that out there. I'm done.
Thank you for that, Elaine. I've already spoken with Amber about creating a poll and using an iPad for that. We do plan on creating a poll that will be available for players to answer after they played on the table.
What about the noise factor? That's huge. I didn't think of that.
Well, I mean, the sound should be pool balls, which inevitably it's unavoidable to have the sound of pool balls on stream.
There's 80
Have
tables
a
and
lot of
I
talking.
really don't think one table is gonna make a difference.
No, but
That's
I was
my
talking
perspective.
about a lot of people hooping and hollering, probably foul language. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a
Oh,
busy, it's gonna be a really busy corner. Just throwing it out.
Okay, Elaine, you're good? Paul Purdy.
So our contract, like Rick said, is up in 2024, correct?
23, the end of this year.
That's whenever we can end it, but it's actually out till 2024, correct?
No, it's over at the end of this year currently.
Okay, so it's a lot more than just pool tables for me. And it's a lot more than just pool tables that make the event. It's it's running the event, scheduling of it, getting all the information out, and actually being there at the event. So my thing would be just what Rick said was follow through for the end of the year with the contract. That'll give you time for for all these Predator events and everything to get real feedback about the tables from players outside of us and it go to nationals. And it might give us time as the Western BCA to maybe create people to actually run the tournament if there's people interested and get training from CSI. I just think it's too early to say, okay, October, we're going to go with Predator tables and we'll figure out all the other nuances of it too. It's just my opinion of it. I just think it's too quick to make a decision. I appreciate Ozzy and being straightforward and coming here to the meeting. Same thing with Rick. It's something that we definitely all needed to hear. And I don't think it's definitely a no about going to Predator tables. I'm just saying it's just too quick to make that decision. That's just my opinion. And I appreciate you guys listening to it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's get
thanks,
Brett.
Paul.
Let's get
Thanks,
Brett
Paul,
up.
real quick. Real
Yeah?
quick, Paul, the reason we're going quick is because Ozzy's offer might eventually expire and go away, and we'd have to pay for them. And so I think it's responsible to consider a free offer because it's a good price.
Yes,
Yeah, but
but
Darren, didn't Ozzy say that he's got a 5-year contract right now? And that, I mean, this offer would be good for 5 years. And I mean, you know, if we don't do it now, maybe we could do it in a couple of years after we get a little more feedback on these tables.
I'll let Ozzy address that if he's still on. Is he still on?
Oh, I'm here. Sorry, it takes a minute to turn the video on. So well, let me start by saying this. I'm not a high pressure sales kind of guy. I'm not here saying, if you guys don't switch now, the opportunity will never present itself in the future. That's not what we're about. Our current agreement with Predator is for 5 years, and we get a certain number of events each year where we get tables at no cost. What we're offering is to kind of deal you into that and make one of those events that we've negotiated be yours. So you would get the tables at no cost. A year or 2 years down the road, there may still be an opportunity to pencil you into that deal if we haven't already maxed out the number of events that we can take advantage of this. But it's also possible that we would not have any more events left in our agreement. We may be maxed out at that point. I think that's what Darren's trying to say. I don't want to speak for him. If you look at, there's a Wyoming organization that came on board last year, the Amusement and Music Operators of Wyoming, AMOW. They've been with VNEA for, I don't know, 40 years, maybe longer. And we presented the same offer and they met as a board. Not an easy decision. They had multiple meetings. I had to show up and answer questions just like this. They ultimately saw the value and took advantage of it. They became an affiliate association last year. And I think they are extremely happy with the product and the service that they're receiving compared to what they were receiving. So in short, 1 or 2 years down the road, it may absolutely be possible to take advantage of what we're offering, but it might not be.
So Wyoming, were they using diamond tables?
They were not. They were using valleys.
Okay. Thanks, Ozzy.
You're
Brett.
welcome.
Paul, you done? You must be muted. Brett.
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you. I just want to say, I think we are all old enough to know there's no such thing as a free lunch. And the free offer that is being offered is not free. I personally was at Nationals this year and witnessed people drilling through the center of the slate of the tables. With Bad Boys, you're getting a known quantity. And I know you guys don't know me, but I'm good friends with Bill Henderson and Darcy. I work with them very closely and develop custom software to help the Western BCA grow. I am now working with Bad Boys with two other guys with combined 50+ years experience in the billiards software development arena to build the best system in the industry. BCA they're running on Q Sports. It's software I wrote. It's good stuff, I think, because I wrote it, but it's 10+ years old now. What you're getting with Bad Boys is brand new, and you have influence. You have the investment in changing and customizing it to work the way you want.
Okay, thank you. Julie.
I was just gonna ask about the expiration date, and they've already kind of covered that. I was just wondering if there was an expiration date on this offer and if Darren knew about it. And I don't see why we're jumping this quickly, head first into this. So I feel like if this has been offered to other establishments, obviously, I don't think it would go away in a year or two if that's how long we took to make a decision, but that's all I had to say.
Sam, get off that pool table. Get over here on mute. Let's go.
What do you want with these?
Okay, so we're gonna have a vote, not today. We're gonna have a vote maybe in April, but at the next meeting, we might have a vote.
You want with the rib.
Okay, we might not, we might have a vote. And I don't want to say things at that meeting that I wouldn't say directly to Rick, because I'd rather have him be right there and be able to
that's good. 5
his side. Okay, and it kills me to do this, but he brought it up, and I know his heart's in the right place. And believe me, Rick Jones knows a lot about pool tournaments and about players and putting on a good tournament. When I was in charge of it, though, I had to repeatedly ask him, tell him and demand that the elite players played in section 1. And repeatedly, Rick would put them, once I turned around and was busy with other things, he would put them wherever he wanted. He put them in the side room one time. Where was Stan Tarango and Dan Louie scheduled at this last tournament? They were scheduled between section 3 and section 4. Now, it's not just a prestige thing. Oh, the Masters always play in section 1, right? No, it's not that at all. The players on either side are crowded. You couldn't get through the aisles. The players were actually complaining because the people watching that match between Stan Tarango and Dan Louie, they couldn't play their match on the table beside them because people were crowding them. People were taking seats. People wanted to watch. That's the second issue. Whenever I was there, I had to talk to them about it. I got blown off. So I don't want to talk behind your back, Rick. You're a wonderful person. I love you dearly. But it kills me to say it. I didn't even want to bring it up or anything. So that's my piece. Rick, you can take over if you'd like.
Got a comment, Rick?
Sure. Sam's probably right. I don't know why the match was moved where, though. It could have been running late. I'm not sure. There was a point in time where we were told not to put the Masters all in the front section because it was wrong to all the other players. Could be. I don't know. I will say at the same time Sam's complaining about, he also came to us and asked us to do a redraw on a player because he just got bumped up to the A division. He didn't want him to have to play somebody that was high skill level in that A division, where Kenny looked at him and said, no, we're not going to do that. I mean, there's things that happen. We all make mistakes. But I mean, he's talking about something 15 years ago. And as far as this year or last year, you know, nobody told us where players had to be. We just do the draw. When we get the stuff, we make them fit where they can. You guys want them all up front? We'll put them all up front.
That's
I don't
exactly
agree
what
with
you
it, but look,
and
I
you
want to
wouldn't
be
do
clear with everybody right now. Everybody, if the Western BCA wants us to do it, we will do it. Ed Slade will verify this. We've been told and asked, hey, what would you do on this or that? And we give our response, and it's pissed people off. But you asked the question. We gave you our answer. If you actually want something done, we'll do it. But I don't think you want us to not voice our opinion on stuff, because I think there's too many people and too many guys that come in and get in charge and they don't understand how a tournament works, or they don't understand a lot of things. If you guys want the yes man, then you call High Country, because I'm sure that's how they'll run their tournament. I'm not that guy, and I'm never going to be that guy. So you guys make your decision how you want to. And by the way, the contract, I believe, ends after the October event, which technically it says January, which kind of silly. But Bad Boys would like to know no later than May 15th, because if you guys are going to go the other way, I need to replace your event. I got to make a living. I think 16 years of doing tournaments for you guys, I think we've earned at least that respect. A big part of our income. I'm not going to hate anybody. If you guys decide to go the other way, that's you guys. That's cool. No big deal. But we just need to know for financial reasons. We love the Western BCA. You guys are family. Bonnie was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. So we feel like it's a family reunion every time we come out. But you guys got a tough decision ahead of you. That's all I got.
Okay, Michael Cho. We got to move through these too. We're 4:35.
I think it's worth, you know, talking about if other people are concerned that the predator thing might go away. I'm almost more concerned that if we go that route, that Rick might go away. He hasn't been able to guarantee us that he can, if we decide to like test it out and go one time over there and try the predator thing, he hasn't been able to guarantee us that he can actually come back. And we're going to throw away 16 years of something that works over trying to check something out for what amounts to elimination of Greenpeace. Like, I don't get it.
Okay, you good, Mike? Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys, hey, I just want to say one thing. You know, I kind of want to talk from a business sense a little bit. You know, a couple people have made some comments about loyalty and things like that. I can tell you, I've owned a business. I run a high-level business. I can tell you that making decisions on loyalty is the absolute worst thing you could possibly do. If we are looking at growing, if we are looking at changing things, improving things, you cannot make a decision based on loyalty. I will say that Rick has done a fantastic job over the 15 years. He's done some great things. He's done some things to piss people off. Everybody said that. Ozzy is obviously running CSI. That's a huge company. Companies are in business to make money, right? Their decisions are going to be made in an effort to look at making money. We are not a business, but we are trying to operate as a business in a way. We also need to make decisions based on facts, not feelings. There is no company out there that is going to be successful making decisions based on feelings. So set the feelings aside, set the friendships aside, set all that stuff aside, look at the facts, see what's going to benefit Western BCA, and make a decision. That's it. Thank you.
Nikki,
Cool. Well, I look at it kind of from that business perspective too, and that I am so sorry I was late to this meeting today. But I don't know if there was money talked about what would the savings really be if we did this, and have we came up with a plan and done apples to apples? If we switch this out and we add in all these new pieces, what would the cost be exactly? Because it seems like it wouldn't be long before we pay for this and pay for this and pay for this. And then all of a sudden we're not really saving any money anyways. And then if we decide it didn't work, we couldn't go back to Rick because maybe he's got a new tournament now, or maybe we actually even put him out of business. And we don't know the quality of these tables yet. And are we, thinking a little bit deeper? All the bars that support us in league play that went and bought diamond tables, we are also going to be making them unhappy because now they're not going to have the tournament tables anymore, which is something we should be caring about a little bit, because the BCA is not the drunk league like the APA is looked at. We don't make as much money for the bars as the APA does. And let's see, what else did I put on here? Owning the tables. If we're talking about owning tables, have we thought about going to Diamond Direct and maybe buying tables directly from Diamond that we know are quality tables? That's that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
Bob, did you have your hand up there for a minute?
I gotta get some other stuff done.
I did. I didn't want to get in an argument about how to run a business. I've been doing it for 40 years as a controller, and I'm telling you right now, loyalty does come into play. I have a known commodity. We know what Rick does. I don't know what Predator will do. Obviously, Ozzy has a very good record also, but to ignore only what the dollar sign says, you can make some real bad decisions based on dollar sign alone. And I disagree with Jackson on that. And I've been doing it for a long time. And
Bob, your comment is not about loyalty. It's about long-term understanding of business. That's what I'm getting at. It has nothing to do with loyalty. Loyalty means you stand behind somebody no matter what, right?
No,
you're making a comment based on experience of business, and I 100% agree.
No, and I agree.
We know exactly what Rick is doing.
Yeah, and I apologize for using the word loyalty. I'm not real good with words. Obviously, it does come into play, but it's more apt to say he's a known quantity. We know what we get with him. We've had a good record with him, but I will never make a decision based on loyalty alone. None. Won't do it. So I just wanted to clarify that. And again, Rick has a track record. We know where we're at. I'd like to say, the reason I held up my hand mainly is Ozzy said maybe we may have this opportunity in a year or two. It still may be there. In a year or two, we'll know the track record of Predator tables and their bar box tables. They're just so new, we don't know. And I think that's important. And if 2 years from now, they have that ability to give us that same offer, and the track record shows that they've done a great job and the bar box tables are holding up, then we take a serious look at it. But somebody made a comment earlier, why fix it if it ain't broke? Over, like someone else said, save an entry fee of $15 a player. To me, I'm staying where I'm at as what my vote's going to be at this time. 2 years from now, I may change my mind when there's a proven track record. I'm done. Thank you.
Stephen Weekly.
Hey, excuse my appearance here, I'm painting, but just one thing to get it out of the way. I'm in the realm of being satisfied with the diamonds, but I hear a lot of people online in this meeting have talked about how we're just going to piss off all the bar owners because, everybody's brought in diamonds for us to play on and all that. Well, for starters, when they brought in diamonds, they probably had garbage tables. They probably had valleys, they might have had globals, they could have had dynamos, but either way, the valleys were, a good upgrade for them. They are making money out of them. And even in the long term, if this event switches over to Predator, if the whole world switches to Predator, they are still going to get our business. It's not like we're going to, I'm not going to go to Tammy and Vic and say, hey, you know what? I am never coming to your venue again until you get Predator tapes. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So it might ruffle a few feathers here and there, but at the same time, it's not going to actually cost them any money. They're not going to lose their business. We're not going to stop supporting them. So as far as just a general reason, I think that's kind of a moot point. I just wanted to point it out in this meeting because I've seen a lot of that talk online, and I just don't think it's accurate.
Thanks, Stephen. Okay, let's be brief on these. Steve Marker.
I wish they hadn't come to this, Rick, but I have something to tell you. I learned everything about running a tournament from you. 16 years ago, when Bill Henderson turned around and said, you're taking over for Sam Rabito, I didn't know jack about running a tournament. All I knew was the rules. Everything about running a tournament, I learned from you, okay? And I thank you for that, I really do. I think we're moving too fast on the Predator tables. I say if this offer is still open in a couple of years, I say maybe we turn around and take them up on it, but I think we should stay with what we have now. I'm done.
Lawrence Frampton.
Hey, just to echo a couple things everybody else has been saying, I think Ozzy said it earlier. You got to ask yourself, is CSI going to be around in 5 years? Yeah, they're probably going to be there. I'm pretty sure of it. This offer is still going to be on the table in 5 years, no matter what happens next. Let's just play it out and see what happens.
Rob Shipman.
What do you want?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people keep mentioning why fix it if it's not broken. In my mentality, that's just satisfying for being satisfied with mediocre. Like I'm always trying to fix it. How do I know it's broken or not if I'm not, trying to achieve more? That said, at this point, I think the Predator tables is a bad move because we don't know what they are. So, in my opinion, we would stick with Rick Jones and the diamond tables regardless of what the offers are. And to be honest, I don't believe that this CSI offer will be there in 2 years. If it is there in 2 years, it's because it's not a good offer because the tables are garbage. But if it's not there anymore and we still want to move to Predator tables, we can do it at no loss. So it doesn't seem to me to make any point to change at this point. Just my 2 cents.
Sam.
Okay. I clear earlier, and somebody let me know that I should. Does everybody know that I am a CSI nationally certified referee?
Who cares?
Well,
congratulations, but
Ozzy is in charge of CSI, and I subcontract with him once a year to ref at nationals. But I was not speaking for Ozzy. I was not speaking for CSI. I was only speaking of my experience at Western BCA, working for Western BCA. Okay.
You have Western BCA blood in your veins. Don't worry about Mike Dykman. Send me a text too.
Well,
Well, come on, man. I mean, you're
about
former president of the Western BCA.
It's
Okay, can we stay on topic here? I mean,
okay, that's everybody on the list.
Hey, he's just making sure
Right.
that you guys don't think he's infiltrating the board. Okay?
the board.
Just saying.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get on to wrapping this meeting up, okay?
No, I have to say this. I've been accused of infiltrating the board, and Sam called me yesterday and said, before I say anything, I must declare I'm part of the bad boy family. And I'm disgusted that he then gets on there and takes a last-minute dig at Rick and doesn't tell anybody. And Ed, I do not appreciate that kind of disrespect. Of course I'm upset. Sam called me yesterday to make sure I pointed out that I was affiliated bad boy, and then he makes an off-subject last-minute dig on Rick and never mentions he literally works for CSI.
It wasn't
Goodbye.
a dig, it was a comment.
All right, well, let's get on to our votes. We can wrap this meeting up. It sounds like the comment period's been taken care of. Before we do, I want to mention something. Julie, can you do me a favor and look at your calendar? I want to try to pick the next meeting date. I did want to have it during Singles at the Coast, but listening to you guys, that doesn't sound like a good idea. Sounds like Rick would like his answer by May 15th.
Let me
What's the
grab my
earliest?
calendar.
What date would work between April and basically the end of the tournament, but well before May 15th, so we can get Rick the information he needs? Because we can just do it outside the tournament. I mean, I didn't want to do it during the tournament. I just thought that there was a pressure to get Rick an answer as fast as possible. But if he can wait a little longer and let us do it after the tournament, that would be fine with me. So yeah, I'd like to get the next meeting date nailed down. So when could we have the annual meeting and still be within the, guidelines and whatnot, and but yet before May 15th?
So you want it after
We do it
the
May
beach,
1st,
obviously.
after April 9th, preferably a little time after, so we can rest and recover. So yeah, I'm looking at my calendar now, like the 9th, it could be the weekend of the 23rd or the 30th of April. Would that still work for an annual meeting and be within the bylaws and whatnot? That's really what I'm worried about.
Well, I don't really understand where we are on the bylaws, because I thought we were changing the annual meeting to November now, since
It
we
hasn't
changed it
changed
yearly.
it hasn't changed by vote to my knowledge, so as long
Okay.
as I vote, we stick with the bylaws that are written.
So as far as I know, the 23rd would work. Keep in mind that if we did it on the 23rd, the meeting notice would have to go out on the 9th. Which is
That's
gonna be
okay.
horrid.
Why don't we do the 5th of May?
Well, the meeting agenda right now looks like Elaine's issue, the elections, and this issue. So I mean, who knows what'll come in between now and then, but those are the three issues that'd probably be on the, and then we'd probably bring up Bill Henderson's issue that,
Members-
May is Mother's Day somewhere. Just putting that
Mother's
out
Day
there.
is the 14th, so we could do the annual meeting on the 7th.
would April 30th work?
I thought it was supposed to, by the bylaws, it's supposed to be the first Sunday in May. Ask Sam, I know we voted differently before to change it before, so I don't know if we can make a vote right now to accept that it would be the 30th instead of the 7th. I don't know why we couldn't vote to say we're having it on the 30th instead of the 7th.
Well, because I wanted to give a little time to negotiate with Rick, because I guarantee there'll be a couple back and forth emails.
Right.
If he wants his answer by the 15th, we need a little time to go back and forth, was my thought process.
Well, I mean, we can do it on the 23rd, but I would just have to have all of the meeting information stuff at the beach on the 8th.
All right, we'll do that on the 23rd. Put that down.
And I think
Ask
we
them
still
if-
have to, if you're gonna have that being our election, our annual meeting, I think we still have to make some sort of vote to accept that instead of it being the first weekend and the first Sunday in May, which was what our bylaws say.
I gotcha. All right. Well, we'll since that wasn't on the agenda and it's the last item anyways, we'll just finish our straw vote. We'll come back to this. I am not currently, let me see if I can get in on a browser real quick. My computer restarted during the middle of the meeting and booted me out. So let me see if I can get it back up on my computer so I can see.
If we're gonna do the straw vote, everybody should turn their cameras on that can.
Yeah, I'm joining on my computer. I hope everybody doesn't get disconnected. I've been on my phone since the computer restarted. right, so.
Okay, so Julie, about the annual meeting. You could call it a special meeting, and this would be acting within the bylaws. If you call it a special meeting where we happen to do all of the functions of the annual meeting until we can change the bylaws, I think that might work. Call it a
I
special.
think you're the only person that would have a problem with it, so if it works for you.
Well,
All right.
I
well,
just
we'll
looked
figure that
at them
out.
and I think Sam is right that a special meeting can be called.
No, I know, that's what the special meeting at the coast was gonna be, a special meeting, but since we're now pushing it towards close enough to the annual meeting, I'd rather do one meeting instead of two. Makes more sense, so.
Side note, Elaine, the bylaws on the website are the current ones. I've verified with 4 different people, a whole bunch of past files. They are the correct bylaws.
Right, from 2012 is the latest.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get our vote done and we'll figure out the meeting after the vote.
Straw vote.
I
Refer to it as a straw vote.
Yeah, but I still want to see the sense of people and where everybody's at. It gives me helps in where we go. So if the vote was taken today, would you vote? Are you in favor of voting? I'm sorry, are you in favor of trying the Predator tables in April 2024 for one event with the understanding of all future events would have to be voted on whether we go back to Diamond? So would you be in favor of trying? Would you be in favor of the Western BCA trying Predator tables in March, April of 2024, whenever our tournament is? So we need
If
to
it didn't
get,
affect our ability to contract in the future with Rick, because that's the issue there.
There's so many variables, so.
no, but we got to get to a decision and try to get some of this weeded out so that when we do.
So
have a
you're
second
saying if the
meeting-
vote was taken today with none of those questions answered though?
Yeah, we don't have the experience of you guys playing on the table, which I really, really want you guys to have. And then myself personally, I want to try it because I don't know exactly if I love it, like it, or don't like it. I want to hit balls on it. I think that's important for a pool player to make a decision. But given the fact that we don't have that
Well,
firsthand
we
knowledge,
also don't have the numbers. We don't have.
it's 16,000 versus 0. I don't see why people think they don't have the numbers. I don't know how to be more blunt and direct.
Because nobody has been told how that breaks down. We don't know what Hill Country is going to cost. We don't know. Do you have a contract with Hill Country? You know how much they're going to charge us to run a tournament or set up the tables, or how much we have to.
As Ozzy said, it's probably comparable to Rick. We're not looking at a
Okay, well,
savings.
probably comparable isn't the.
We're not looking at savings in that arena. We're talking about, when, like Ozzy said, he doesn't care who runs the tournament. We could have Rick run the tournament on Predator tables. The bottom line is, do we want to try out the Predator tables or not? That's what we got to figure out.
So is this vote just to say, yes, we do want to consider it as a possibility, so proceed with gathering information? This isn't the vote to say, yes, we are using it, is it?
Correct. No, this is a non-binding, just to see where we're at. If it's 100 to 0, everyone says, no, we shouldn't try it. I'm probably not going to bother fighting for a Predator table at the event. I think we just make a vote. I don't know. I just think if it's somewhat close, I'd probably lean towards, moving forward to this, but I'd rather get the contract negotiations done and move on with my life.
So what you want it written as is, if the vote was taken today, would you be in favor of the WBCA trying Predator tables in April 2024?
Correct. That's the
So
vote.
Then that negates the vote that you're talking about in April or May. So now we're voting to definitely use it in April, or are we voting to definitely use it in April?
This is if the vote was taken today. So this is a straw vote. This is not a binding vote. This is just to see if people want to continue looking into it, or if they say, I already have enough information and I don't want to continue looking into it.
That's probably a better way to word it.
It is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
I hear
Just to-
those as two different things.
Yes.
So I want to be
Me
real
too.
clear about what I'm voting on because I'm definitely open to doing more investigation and finding out more and getting more, specifics in front of us. But if the vote is, just if
Jimmy?
it were today and what are we gonna do? I mean, my vote's gonna be a little different. So
That's
Just-
why we'll have the final vote in the future so we can get, if we get more facts. I mean, if I feel like I'm running, if you guys got me running down the wrong rabbit hole and I shouldn't be trying to save you 80,000 over 5 years, let me know. I got a life to do. So.
But by definition, the straw vote is not a binding vote. This is just
Correct.
a fact gathering vote,
So-
opinion gathering vote.
So we're voting on, do we want to continue investigating this basically and looking into the possibility?
Right, or not bother.
Okay.
I mean, I've already
Okay, so that is clear. It is to investigate, not to have predator tables in April 24 because there would be no contract for that. It's purely keep investigating.
Non-binding. Doesn't mean.
Darren wants to know is what your thoughts are right now. So if it was, I mean, it is a straw vote is, if it were to happen today, what would your vote be? But this is not a non-binding vote, or it's a non-binding vote. This
Yes.
is not going to be like, oh, well, now we're going to sign the contract. It's not that.
Yes.
So if you dumbed it down for me, it means a vote yes means continue investigating. I'm interested.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was very clear.
All those abstaining, raise your hand, please. You're
There's a lot
abstaining.
of people that's cameras are not on, so turn your cameras on.
Mine's not working today.
Okay.
Okay, so I see.
You can turn your camera on.
So Stephen Weekly and Paul Purdy, your hands up. Are you abstaining? Yes or no? If you're not abstaining, take your hand down in the chat. Let's see who else. I think I see 0 abstentions. If there's anyone abstaining and I missed you, please let me know if you're.
Well, it looks like Stephen Weekly and Paul Purdy are abstaining.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
They didn't take it down.
Yeah, Weekly texted me that the opposite. That's why I'm giving him a chance.
Yeah, he's having issue where he's working right now. He's having a lot of connectivity issues.
Ask
so
him if he's
I don't even know if he's
abstaining or
really
not.
still there.
Ask him if he's abstaining.
You want me to just call him?
Well, he texted me he's gonna vote yes, but all right.
Okay,
So-
then you already know.
And
so I
Paul
won't bother.
Purdy's not a voting member anyway, so.
Okay, so I think,
Correct.
so it looks like Pam on her iPhone asked if she can vote through the chat. That's fine, Pam. What's your vote? Are you abstaining? Yes or no? No, she's not abstaining. Now, all those that be opposed, please raise your hand.
This is opposed to having predator tables.
Opposed to trying them, I mean,
Opposed to
Probably
trying
would have
that.
been easier to ask the other question.
if the vote were held today, would you be opposed to?
If you're
trying?
raising your hand, you're saying now you've already made you already don't want them. You don't think you want to
You
go
have
further.
enough information, trying them doesn't mean anything to you, and you've got your mind made up. That's kind of what it
Okay,
tells.
I just have to say, I'm hearing a second thing where we're saying like, we're never gonna talk about it again. One
Yeah.
of these, was somebody's pointed that out. I'm trying not to talk. I'm sorry, I'm upset, but someone has already pointed out that one of these says we'll never talk about it again, which is ridiculous.
I'm
And
not
one of
saying
us
that.
says
We're gonna
it's too
talk about
soon. What? Oh my God, why are you talking over everyone? Oh my God.
Stop.
Okay, I'll step out again. Please
I do
clarify
think-
what we're voting
I
on.
do think we need to clarify a little bit. That was my comment too, because they are different in wording,
Julie, please reread the motion.
So, yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
it hasn't changed. If the vote was taken today, would you be in favor of WBCA trying predator tables in April 2024? I am voting no, because if the vote was taken today, I would not be in favor of WBCA trying predator tables in 2024.
Right.
I'm not
Anyone else?
saying that it with more information when I am convinced, I'm not saying I wouldn't revisit it, but I'm saying is that right now, I am not in favor.
That's what we're trying to figure out, because right now.
I
Okay,
don't
so
think
a
any
hand,
of this is saying we can never revisit it or talk about it again, but it's right now, I am not in favor.
so a hand up
Darren?
is a no. A hand
Yeah.
up is a no. Okay.
Yes, a hand up right now is a no.
All right, thank you. It was not real clear to me.
No, I think the wording's kind of changed, understanding of it, even for me.
One extra vote in the chat, Julie, that's the same as yours, a no from Pam.
Okay.
So keep your hands up till Julie's done counting you, please.
Darren, I do need to say though,
Oh God, stop, no, stop. I'm sorry, Melissa. Whenever somebody talks, it changes my screen. So I get halfway through the count and then you talked and it changed my screen. So just don't talk for just a second. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Vote means two different things. You can vote by doing. See, because now the
Okay,
vote's two different things.
let's figure out what people want to do before I start counting again. What were you saying, Tabitha?
Oh my gosh, I thought I was mute. Well, the vote kind of changed. I mean, now you're saying if I'm not in favor of it for April 24th, when I thought we talked about it was going to be, their vote is whether we want to pursue investigating. So I'm going to change mine to abstaining now.
Okay, let me see if I can make this as clear as possible. Right now, what you are voting for, the words are, if the vote was taken today, would you be in favor of the Western BCA trying predator tables in 2024? What we were trying to explain is if you vote yes, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. It means more information is going to be, it's not voting yes on that does not mean it is decided. It means it's going to go forward. So if you vote no, that means right now, at this point, I would say, I don't want them. I don't think it ever like closes the door on more information, but if right now, what your opinion would be, given the information you have, what your vote would be. Is that, if that's incorrect, God, Darren, you take it.
That's correct. That's correct. So, have you got the no's counted yet or not?
No, because people kept talking and my screen kept changing. So I don't have anything counted. I'm sorry.
I'm really sorry.
It'd be easier for everybody to just put their vote in the chat and then you can count them.
Yeah, or a text, but people have to understand the vote because I think we've created more confusion. A straw vote is just a fake vote. A straw vote is just, hey, let's see if we had the vote right now, based on all the information right now, how would you vote on that question? Then that doesn't, then Darren takes that and says, okay, there's enough people that might want to do it that I'll continue. Or there's enough people that already don't want to do it, so I'm not going to waste my time on this. So you want to vote with, if it was a vote right now, what you would do, but it's just an information gathering thing. Like for me, I don't have enough information. I don't have enough that I feel comfortable with this. There's too many gray areas for me. I don't want to make a change. I'm happy with how we have it and I don't think it's worth it. But it's just a fact gathering vote, like an opinion gathering vote. So what you would vote at this moment.
Julie, if we vote no, aren't we just voting to table it? Because it could be brought up again, right? I mean,
well, yeah, it absolutely can be brought up again.
We're just saying table it. We're not, because I'm just really uncomfortable with saying we're not going to investigate it. That's no fair to anybody.
No, nobody is saying that it.
With my Western BCA hat, I just want to make sure we're just tabling it. We may talk about
nobody is saying it would go away or it would never be discussed again. It just means at this point in time, we're saying no.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
Wanting that.
I just want that clear.
We're effectively voting to get the majority opinion on that.
I'm still unclear as to whether a hand yes to predator tables or no to predator tables. I've heard both. Tell me what the hand means, please.
Right now it means nothing. A lot of people are voting in the comments, but then if you vote in the, can everybody get to the chat and vote there? If everybody
Sure.
can get to the chat, then vote there, and then I'm not switching screens and doing all of that. So if you are allowed to vote, if you're not a guest and you are a member, go to the chat, please.
Julie, I'll just send you mine by text.
Okay. If you can't vote in the chat, you can send it by text.
I do want to say though, no matter how the vote turns out, Darren, I absolutely think you still need to have a table there so that we can see what it's like and use it, because none of us have ever touched one.
Okay,
I
thank you.
agree. I
That's
agree.
my
I
next
mean,
question. Once
people
we-
might love it.
Okay, that's my next question after we get done with the straw vote. So let's get this done so we can all go about our lives. And I will be asking that question in a second.
So FYI, I actually have played on one, and Elaine's comment earlier about them being super loud in that corner, they're actually really, really quiet.
I think Elaine's comment was more about the crowd of people that will be there.
Okay, let's still finish the voting. And
I'm working on it.
we're done with discussion. We got a whole other meeting to just beat this thing like a dead horse. So don't
Oh,
worry.
God.
You guys can just have your say and get it all out there and get everything you want answered. And I'm trying to give you every single piece of information I can.
A yes means we will continue to investigate.
A
Just
And
answer the
we
direct
will have a
question that
sample
Julie
predator.
Just answer the question Julie asked directly with your honest answer. That's the
Yes.
question you're answering.
I need the question again. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
If the vote was taken today
Yes.
on whether you want to switch to predator tables in April of 2024, would you say yes or no?
Okay.
Hey, Darren, since I'm not a voting member or anything, so for the next straw vote, are you going to ask, should you still pursue facts and contract negotiations for the next meeting?
I can, I have to, it's my job. I mean, the
That's what I was-
reality is I've already asked people for tables. I've already got discussions underway. This is not something that is just now starting. I've already been underway I've already talked to Dave Lauer, the Q Lockers. I've been working on this room thing for weeks. I just need to know how hard I need to work for you guys and give me a sense of what you want, I mean.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to. I know you're probably going to get 50 votes no for this or whatever it is, but shouldn't you have a straw vote also that says for you to continue the research so that you can make a final decision in May or in March?
It's already a foregone conclusion that we have to get to a final decision. So I got to keep going no matter what. It's not even up for discussion. I'm going forward with getting you guys a table to play on. The only way we won't is if all my options to getting one refuse to provide.
Oh my God.
This is an opinion vote.
Thank you.
Guys,
That's well
yeah.
said.
Just vote.
What Jesus.
Julie, do you got your vote count yet?
I don't have the complete count, but it's overwhelmingly no.
Okay. Let's just do the other way. Who's yes? Anyone voting yes?
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, we could just take the number of people, subtract the yeses and the abstentions. It's just math. I mean, come on, I can do it for you.
There's nobody that's left.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I don't think I get to vote on straw vote. So, but anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tammy, was your hand up?
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Anybody else in the chat voting yes? I got Stephen Weekly was voting yes.
Elaine said yes, but I don't know if her hands, no, her camera's not working. So Elaine is a yes.
So just do the math that way. That's the right way to do these votes.
Well,
is-
there's just no, people have left, Darren, so it's not that simple anymore. I don't even know how many people are still here and people have shown up and hold on, I will just do it this way. If you haven't voted in the chat, please vote in the chat. And I'm just gonna go by the chat.
Julie, I didn't vote in the chat.
Okay,
yes.
I have yours.
Really makes me look forward to the annual meeting via Zoom.
Oh
I
my
gotta say.
God, we've got to find a better way to do this.
I
Because
just think we need to look, I mean, obviously, we need to look into all the options and all the ways that can do this eventually in the future.
Crystal.
I'd be happy to help you guys too, if you want, Julie. I work with Zoom a lot.
Well, Nikki, you weren't here when we were discussing it, but we need to find a way to have a vote for our elections in a Zoom meeting that is
Anonymous.
anonymous.
Yet only goes to the people. they want.
Oh, I think, can you use a poll to do that? I'll play with it. I don't use polls much, but I have a feeling that polls are anonymous and then it just gives you like a pie graph at the end that everybody can see, but it doesn't say specifically who voted which way.
But the problem with poll vote is you don't know if his actual voting member is voting or not.
I mean, we could ask the
Oh.
guests to step out we could have the votes at the end and have the guests step out and vote without them and then ask them to come back. I mean, I don't know. It's the only way to get it on, but we'll figure that out. You got the numbers you need, Jules?
No. I'm muting you for a minute and I'm gonna add this up. Hey, Darren,
Yeah.
can we do it? Can we do it as a roll call like we did last meeting? Can I just
Fire
ask
away.
each person individually? Because I think that
Go
would be a
for it.
lot
Go.
easier.
Whatever gets us wrapped up so we can go about our lives. We're at 5:50.
Becky Potter, yes or no or abstain?
No, for both me and Jeff.
We want bad boys, so those are our lead.
Okay, so I'll do both of you on that. Sharon Bledsoe. Sharon Bledsoe still here?
I think she was going to league. I don't know if she's still on, Julie.
Okay.
She
Arlen,
messaged that.
Arlen,
It's a no from me.
thank you. Johnny Landis,
I voted no.
thank you. Tammy Culbertson, you were a yes, right? Rose,
Yes.
Rose,
On. Okay, now I'm on. I just want more information. I'm not gonna say yes or no.
so
That's
abstain.
abstaining.
Stu Ledger, Sue, are you still here?
We got 50 people.
Raquel,
Shook her head no.
huh?
Sue Ledger shook her head no.
Okay, thank you. Raquel,
Take your head, Raquel, yes or no? Or no.
no, thank you. I can't see her. Suzanne Mackey, see, this is what I mean. There's people that I think aren't here anymore. Patrick Bennett. Amber Davis.
No.
Amber is a no.
Correct.
Thank you. Kelly McMinn, sorry.
McMinn, no.
Thank you. Tamitha.
No.
Ron Humphrey, I have you as a no, is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Elaine Eberly, I have you as a yes, is that correct?
Sorry, I'm gonna change to abstain because I want more info.
Okay, thank you. Robin Adams.
No.
Michael Littman. Pretty sure you were a no.
No,
Yeah,
I'm a no.
I've implied no.
Julie
I'm a
Fraser, no. Tim Fraser. I heard you. Jackie, you were a yes. Jackson McDonald.
No.
Bob Olson.
No.
Melissa Olson.
No.
Dave Chavez, I have you as a yes.
Yes, ma'am, I'm a yes.
Thank you. Lawrence Frampton.
No.
Thank you. Nancy Meeser.
Abstain.
Thank you. Christy.
I'm changing to an abstention because I want to get more information.
Okay. Kathy Stanley. Ed Slade, I have you as a no.
Correct.
Kathy Stanley, are you still here? Stephen Weekly.
He texted Darren and told Darren yes.
Okay, thank you. Michael Cho.
I'll abstain.
Thank you. Mika, are you still here? Mika Coley?
I'm here. I'm a no.
Okay, thank you. Michael Deichman. I think I know your vote, Michael, but I need to hear it. If you're still here.
I think it's fair to put him down as no and move on.
Jim Knappenberger.
No.
Izzy Lemus. I think Izzy actually said he was leaving. Steve Marker.
No.
Stephanie Crystal, I have you as a no.
Correct. No.
Thank you. Tammy Conover.
What are you doing?
David Mackey. Sam Rubito.
Yes.
And then Rob Shipman, I have no.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's everyone.
Thank you.
So you got ours. You got Chad and Nikki.
No, thank you. You guys showed up after I didn't even have, see, that's why I wanted to
Yeah,
do it this
that's
way.
okay.
Thank you.
Sorry. We
No,
both
that's,
say no.
that's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people come and go during the meeting, so raising hands anymore doesn't count. Or counting the yeses, because I don't know how many no's there are because we don't know how many people are here. Sorry. Okay, that's all I need.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so, my next duty is to plan the next meeting, okay? And that's pretty much one of my main jobs is to plan the date of the next meeting. I originally wanted to go to two meetings, but the big concern I have over this whole thing is how much time and discussion everyone kind of feels is needed for this issue. Is the bylaws mandate that we have to do elections at the next meeting if we hold it at the end of April. So do you guys think a lot of debate is needed further? Because if it is a 3 or 4 hour meeting of debate with this issue, I might not have time for elections, and that's not okay. So I can put elections first and then let this run, but then we'd be looking at a long meeting. That's why I was leaning towards 2 meetings, so we could spend whatever time's necessary on this issue. And then we could just focus on the annual meeting like we do every year. So anybody have any comments or feedback for me as I
Point of order.
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, you have to have at least 4 meetings, one of them being the annual meeting. You're allowed to have more.
I agree, but it's I mean, I guess we could do 2 meetings. I'm just trying to feel how much people feel they want to talk about this. Is this an issue that needs another 4 hours of discussion? I'm fine with it.
Encourage 2 meetings. This one's going to take all of its own, and then you're going to want another one for elections.
Well, I guess
Right.
it depends on how much more information is provided. People want more information.
I mean, really, there's no other information to provide you. I don't know. I mean, I could go over numbers
have to play
myself.
on them.
You got to play on them. I mean, at the end of the day, I could go over Jackie's books with you and show you how much we pay Rick and how much the new bids are, because that's the only information we'll have.
But you don't have
then.
new bids. You just said you don't have.
I
new
don't
bids.
have them today, but we'll have them by the next meeting, Jules. That's why I
Okay,
can't
well,
share
then
them
that's
because
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
have
That's
them.
more information.
Yeah, we need lots more information.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
The
go ahead, please.
I'm sure that other people feel the same way. The information that I'm waiting on is how people like them at nationals. I want to see, I have players that are going down for nationals. I want to see what they think about the tables and what their opinions of them are. That's the main piece of information that I'm waiting. That's why I abstained.
Okay. I mean, my goal as president is simply get you all the information you need. So I want you guys to be as educated, informed, and feel like you've discussed the item to death. And let's have the vote when you guys feel like you've got everything you need to have the vote, because that's would, in my opinion, would make a good, healthy vote. So yeah, I expect to have proposals by the time of the next meeting. And number. Other than that, we'll just have the experience of having shot on and tried the tables for ourselves. So those are the 2 new pieces of information we'll have before we make our decisions. Or anything else I need to pursue in your guys' eyes to help you guys get to the decision that you need to make.
Are you going to have a proposal from High Country?
Can we get those?
Someone was talking over you, Sam. Who was that? Go ahead, Sam.
Are you going to have a proposal from High Country for their possible extended tournament direction? What their packages include?
I can definitely request one. Yes. I mean, I'll request one. That much I promise you.
Sure.
Well, if we don't have the numbers from everybody that it takes, if we're not using Rick, if we don't have everybody's numbers that it's going to take to run a tournament, then we've got nothing for Aussie. Just because Aussie gets us tables, that doesn't solve the rest of the problem. We need to have the numbers from everybody.
Well, if they don't bid, they're not in the running. It's that simple. They'll get a month or 2 period, a month and a half, a big long period to give us their bids and express interest in doing business with us. That's what requests for proposals are all about. We reach out to these business partners and say, hey guys, we need these numbers. What would you charge us for this stuff? And then we bring those numbers back. But just because you send a request, I sent multiple streamer requests to 5 streamers that never ever got back to us. We can't force people to work for us.
Well,
I mean,
no, but you have to understand people aren't able to make a decision without that information either. So if we
No.
can't force
Hang
people to
on,
work for
Julie.
us-
Hang on, Julie. Everybody can make a decision based on the information they have in front of them. If it's not the information that they don't want to hear, or if it's not there, they have to make a decision based on that. There's
Right.
no continuing to put it out until we hear from this person or that person.
If we
The
don't
the
have
decision
people
is
saying-
made. Go ahead.
if we don't have people saying that they're interested or sending us bids, then I think that does make the decision. Then we have to have people to do
Right.
these jobs.
I think we'll
Right.
get bids from everybody for what it's worth. Okay, guys? I think you worry about stuff that's irrelevant. I think
Can
we'll
we,
get.
can we get Gary Benson's kid to turn around and come to a meeting?
Don't know. I don't know him that well. I've only had a 2-minute conversation with him. I didn't have a long talk with him, but I can definitely reach out and see what his thoughts are. But yeah, I mean, I don't know him as well as I know Rick and Ozzy, but yeah, I can ask.
Okay.
For me to make a decision, I want to see all the numbers and a full proposal of resources and financials with different vendors. But I have one quick question. So we keep talking about the expiration date. There's not an expiration date, but this offer may be off the table. This offer is from Ozzy, correct? Not from Predator. I mean, the Predator has already given Ozzy tables. So
Correct.
to loan us, okay, so it's Ozzy that would quote unquote expire our offer, not Predator. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So for the comment to say that this may not be on the table after a couple of years, that actually is Ozzy and CSI taking it off the table for us.
They have the right to do that. They don't have to offer this forever. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll continue to get you guys information. It sounds like I know what you guys need, and I'll keep pursuing the information you need to get you to a final outcome. With that said, let's go ahead and plan on April 30th, and we'll probably go ahead and we should almost do it.
Oh, do you want the final count or do you need it or?
Well, I don't care. Say it out loud. That's fine. I might as well tell.
Opposed was 27, abstained was 5, and yes was 5.
Got it. All right. So I just got to finalize the meeting date. I'd really like to do that now so that people don't accuse me of, you know, BS because they're kids. The reality is I'd like to do April 30th. I think we probably come back around April 7th and do the annual meeting, I guess. I don't know. I could put it all on agenda, and if we're running too long, we table I don't know. I mean,
I think 2 meetings are the way to go.
all right, well, then we should probably move it earlier in April if we can.
Yeah, if you're gonna do 2 meetings, you can't have one a week after the other.
Yeah, and my hands are tied on the. So the 9th, we're finishing the tournament. How does the 16th work? I hate doing it that fast, but it's fresh out of playing on the table, so that'd be useful. 16th of April, and then do the 7th of May.
The 16th of April, just so you know, there's I believe that's APA. I don't know how many people here play APA.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Aren't they wrapping up on Sunday?
Uh-huh.
The 16th?
I would imagine.
Sorry, software developer who is a timeline driven person. Isn't there a tournament coming up in March?
For us, it's April 1st.
April 1st. That's before May.
Correct, but nobody wanted to meet during the tournament because they're too busy playing pool. So the 1st through 9th is out. You know, so that leaves the 16th, 23rd, or 30th as our choices because we have to do our annual meeting by bylaws on the 7th.
So sorry, I'm just being pushy a bit, but can this decision really wait until May?
It'd be done in April. I don't know. Rick wanted to know by May 15th, and I'd like to get him the answer as soon as possible, personally. I mean, that's my preference. I think Rick wouldn't be upset if we got him an answer sooner than later. So yeah, I don't really see us pushing it out too much further. I don't want Rick to have to schedule another tournament elsewhere. So yeah, I want to keep his schedule open to us.
So what about what's wrong with April 23rd?
I don't know. I guess we could go April 23rd. Tammy might not be able to make it, she was saying.
Oh. Well, I mean, you only have so many choices, 16th, 23rd, 30th. Or doing it all at the,
All right.
I just
I
can't
got-
imagine having 2 meetings back to back 1 week after another.
I know, that's why I'd like as much time between the meetings. The 16th will work. I think we're just gonna go with the 16th, so. April 16th is the next meeting. The agenda item will be this issue. I don't know if we'll have any others like Elaine's meeting agenda item done. We may have one other from Bill Henderson. He's recovering right now from being in the hospital, so wish him well.
Okay, so then I will need the meeting notice to go out on April 2nd, or actually April 1st, which will be the first day of our event. So just be prepared. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying be prepared that you'll have to have the agenda done before the tournament.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
Anytime there are members at large available, you should have that on the agenda to at least approach the topic. And currently,
Yes.
what, 3 positions open or 2?
3.
3. So just throwing that out.
I know
Thank you.
Linda Carter wants to be a player rep, but she was kind of,
But do we want to
Yes.
vote on the 3 remaining members at large on the 16th of April, only to replace them on May 7th, 2 weeks later?
yeah, that doesn't make it.
There'd be a 2-week member at large service. I mean, we could do it. I'm fine with it. I'm just saying it seems, but we could do it.
Well, it's kind of 2 important things. I mean, if they really want to be involved in the
They want to
vote,
be
I
involved,
would think
yeah.
they're going to be clamoring to be members at large for this
Okay,
vote.
good. We'll put that first on the agenda. Got it. All right, I think we are about done. We got the dates for next meeting.
Is there
I do
still,
think- go ahead.
sorry, is there still a 2-week lead time to register player reps to
No,
allow them to vote?
no. I'm not sure why that changed, but it's been changed for a while.
Well, between now and the next meeting, hopefully Julie will get me that list and I can get it on the website, and
I will
then
send you that list.
I'll have
right
Darcy
now.
send an email out to all the league operators to review the list we have and confirm it's accurate, and then we'll update the website from there, and then we'll be done with it for now. So yeah, we'll get that squared away. Yeah,
Can you please be sure to send me all the links to the video, because I am way behind on the minutes for this meeting.
yeah, my best, absolutely. It takes like 4 hours to render it once I'm done, just so you know.
That's fine. I'm not going to work on it tonight, but
All right, well. All right, well, I think we are adjourned. We won't be doing an executive session. I want to thank everybody for your time. I want to thank both of our guests for coming here today. And once again, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ozzy.
Yeah, I would just like to say to everyone, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, answer any questions you may have. It was an honor. And you guys are doing a great job. And for anyone coming to Vegas, be sure to grab me as you see me running around the hallways and say hello.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 26th. Several of us will be coming up to you on the 26th.
Excellent. Well, take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Darren? Thank you
Yeah.
all.
Darren,
Yep.
can you, I got a question. This is just between Darren and I, no big deal.
Let's wait, stay on the line, Jim, and let everybody hang up, and then we'll, I think I know what it's about. It's
So
about the
there's
player.
no executive session?
Nope. I don't have
Okay.
time. You think
Okay.
we need one? I mean,
No.
all right, so.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
bye.
Your trophy now, Ed.
Yep, I got it.
Goodbye.